I don't know. You tell me. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? All right.
A little distracting.
A little hot?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is a little hot. Hey, speaking of hot, guess what's up? We are back live in the live stream lounge. And oh my gosh, guess who is, we're in slight technical difficulty. Guess who is hanging out with us today? Mr. Dan Phillips. Oh my
What's
gosh.
going on, brother?
I
How are
cannot
you?
wait to chat all the things. As you guys may or may not know back home, Emmy award winning, not just an FX makeup artist, but you have such an illustrious career, and it's got to feel good. And it's been a while now that you've been an Emmy award winning visual effects makeup artist.
Yeah.
The gamut of professional things you've done in your career is so amazing.
Well, thanks, man.
Like, I can't wait to get into how you got into it, what it was like growing up, the transition from a fan into a professional, and some of the really cool things that you have done. But first things first, two things. We need to say hello to our friend Mike. Mike, what's shaking?
Hey, Mike, how are you, brother?
Well, okay.
Oh, hold on. Wait, it's is it the side
I
one?
think it's the side one. Is it?
Oh, wait, that might turn it off.
Oh, we want
Don't
that.
turn it off.
We don't want that.
The one under it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we are the.
Oh, it might be.
Yeah.
Oh, there we
are.
go.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, Mike, how are
Oh
you?
my gosh. What is going on, Mike?
Go Lions!
Lions, are they doing well right now?
They
Yes.
are just rocking it. Rock
Really?
and roll, baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to know. You can tell how often I watch sports. But real quick, we need to choose, all three of us, we need to choose our glasses, because right back here, look at this. Oh my gosh.
Oh, my
Old
gosh.
school Burger King, Wendy's. I've got the Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, The Return of the Jedi, the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the Battlestar Galactica,
What?
and the E.T.
Well, I'm gotta go with my fave, and my fave has always been Vader, so I gotta have a Vader.
All right, do you want the old school Star Wars Vader or the Empire Vader?
Because the old school's got Grandma talking on it too.
All right.
This
This one's also interesting because the art, doesn't it almost look like he's got googly eyes a little bit?
a little bit,
It's
yeah.
it's a little cray-cray.
This is awesome, Matt.
Dude, in honor of having you on the show,
Peter Cushing, right there. He's the man.
in honor of having you on the show with cool prosthetics and everything that you do, check out this glass. This is from 1984. This is from Wendy's, and this is Mola Ram pulling someone's heart out and lighting it on fire. What does it say now? What does it say on the back of this family glass? This is what families would get at Wendy's. High Priest Mola Ram performs a terrifying thuggy ritual. They used, like, families
Perfect.
would get this for their kids.
Perfect.
Amazing. Oh, you lost connection. Here, I can show you how to do this. Here, if you do this, you got way too much slack.
Yeah.
Just give it enough
There we are.
so that it doesn't fall, and it also doesn't pull on it. You should be rocking. Okay, Mike, what kind of glass can I get for you?
Oh, this is for us to keep? I'll keep.
No,
I was going to say, man.
for you to use tonight.
Tonight,
Oh,
one night only.
You know?
Come on,
Give me the.
Mike.
Give me the.
E.T., Battlestar.
Battlestar.
Okay.
Let's go with
Get
the
a
old
Cylon.
Cylons?
Yeah,
Cylon
yeah,
Warrior,
that's
go.
what like, yeah. Let's see what
There
we
you
got
go.
here. What we got here?
Cylon Warriors.
No.
Those
Nice.
are dope.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right, we'll get some ice, and then we will get the party started.
Right.
Woo!
So I have a mission.
Oh, I'm
When
sorry
I
about
start-
my nose, guys. I got my sinuses are killing me today.
It's all good. Where's the scoop? Did I bring that upstairs?
Use your fingers. It's all good. We're friends here.
I might have brought it upstairs. Where did I?
We've all
All
done
We're-
COVID.
All right, we're all, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger,
That's
right?
I'm down.
All right. And if you don't want ice, let me know. Or if you want to grab your own ice.
No, you can do it.
All right.
I don't. You know, your hands are my hands. By the hand of God. There goes I.
All right.
Thanks,
Mike?
brother.
Ice.
Ice, sure, yeah. Ice, baby.
And then I am doing a Verner's right here. Mike, you want Verner's? What would you like?
Oh, let's go with the good old Pepsi.
Pepsi?
You got a
All
Pepsi?
right.
Oh wow! Look
Look at
that.
this. Just out of
Nice.
nowhere.
What's that
Got a
there?
Pepsi. It looks like it's already been opened. Hope that's all right.
Let's It's a little backwash.
Do you guys, since this is kind of the Halloween episode, do you want to hear the scariest thing that ever happened to me drinking a Pepsi?
Yes, absolutely.
I had a party once.
Just once?
Yes. Didn't go over. No, it went over great. I had a party and I was cleaning up and I was drinking a Pepsi. I got a bunch of Pepsis, kind of like this, for the party. And I went and grabbed, it was someone else's Pepsi. It was someone else's, but I thought it was mine. I thought it was the one that I brought down. So as I'm grabbing things and I see it was about this much left in it. And I opened it and I took a swig. It wasn't just someone else's Pepsi. Someone at the party was chewing tobacco and they were using the Pepsi to spit whatever that junk is back into it. It all went into my mouth. That's your Halloween horror story for the day.
I got a good one for you too, but
gosh.
it's pretty gross itself. But I'll tell you when we get to that part.
Okay. Well, so here's what's up. Let's make a toast. This is the kind of the Halloween episode of the live stream lounge. And then what I'm going to need to do, I'm going to make the toast. Can I open this really quick?
Yeah.
Because to go to Instagram Live, I actually have to open the live key. I'm testing it out to see if Instagram Live works, but I need to open this.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull this here just to make sure. So when the theme music starts, I have to run and press live on Instagram and see. It's a test today to see if that works.
That's right. I got your screen here anyway. So.
Oh, okay.
If my mom's on, hi mom.
Hi, Mom.
I know she doesn't stay up past 9 o'clock, so she's probably
Okay, I'm
making
removing
sure to see
this
me and then go to bed.
Oh, save changes. Are we still live? I think we are still live. Okay, we are still live.
Is this live? Or...
All right, just check in. Something with X. There's all these. I haven't done the live stream in a while, so there's all of these updates. I may chat about some of those in a moment. One is that X, in order to do a live stream now, you have to be on their subscription. So no
What
more
is X?
Twitter.
Oh, see, I'm not down with all this.
I know,
stuff.
right? But
I'm such an old
things
fart.
change so fast.
And I'm going to try not to swear, but I'm probably going to swear a lot. So I apologize.
We're all adults here.
Like fudge and shoots.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Ready?
Let's see. Oh my gosh, I have to think of a good toast. This is the show you love. This is the show you like. Tonight we're hanging out with Mr. Dan and Mr. Mike.
Nice,
Woo-hoo!
nice. Thank you. Thank you for the invite, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, let's get this party started.
Matt is not making it right now, but we are working on getting him back in this thing as we clean the lens.
It looks like we're live on Instagram now. So the thing with Instagram that's interesting is apparently it's a new thing. I can go live on Instagram. So this is bouncing everywhere, except now it's not going to Twitter anymore unless I pay money. So now we're live on Instagram for the first time, I believe. However, it only goes for an hour. So then it'll cut out on Insta. But we're on Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. I might have already said LinkedIn of all places.
You got the whole gamut covered.
The whole gamut. All right. So let's see here. Diving right in. So this obviously is the live stream lounge. Our special guest today is Mr. Dan Phillips. Woo! Oh my gosh. Can't wait to ask all the questions and really get into the juice. Real quick, let's just rifle through. So obviously we had our drinks. We did the glasses. I just wanted to follow up. There's some new videos. There's the full audio book of the official collector's edition. There's a great video on it's the greatest lesson that I've learned in my career. It has to do with those customizable art cards. Have you ever played any of those, like Magic the Gathering or anything like that?
I always wanted to try it, but I never had anybody want to teach me.
I've tried to play a couple times, but man, if there's so many rules.
Oh,
and
I
stuff.
know. Yeah.
Why go to art school? Absolutely, you should go to. Did you go to art school? We'll get into it, but did you go to art school?
No, I did not. I apprenticed under a makeup artist.
Okay.
When I was young, right out of high school.
Yeah.
But I always loved art.
You're an incredible artist for sure.
I'm not you, but nobody can be.
I'm going to get into this on another episode, but I've been talking every episode updates. I've really been trying to push my TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. Here is the crazy thing that I've discovered. So everyone's been saying in the past couple years, if you just post every day, you're going to see incredible growth. So I have not seen incredible growth. And this year, earlier in the year, I made a point every single day to post a new reel, a new something. Well, didn't see a lot of growth. Here's the crazy thing. In the last month, I've been kind of busy, had a baby. There's actually been a lot going on behind the scenes. So I haven't posted as much. My growth, it hasn't soared through the roof or anything, but easily bigger growth, more watch time, more everything in the past month. But I've been posting less.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, but it's the opposite of what everyone says, that you need to post more and you need to be on there more in order to get. Now, part of it might be that I had a baby, so you post baby photos. Everyone likes, everyone comments. So that might be, maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't know. Speaking of baby, this is how it started. This is how it's going. Oh my gosh. It is just, oh my gosh, it is so cool being a dad. Like, oh my gosh, it's just wild. So we went to the Green Day concert, and 34 hours later, our baby was born. This is Casey going in, and we weren't sure exactly how it was going to happen and what was going on. But Bo, Bo is how his name is pronounced. A lot of people have been asking because it's spelled Beaux. It looks like it would be pronounced Bukes, but it's just Bo. It's just a cool way. At least I think it's a cool way. Yeah, it's a cool way to spell Bo. There he is. He was in the NICU for a little while, and so precious. But he's got the CPAP on his face and all these tubes and everything. And but he was just so precious and got better and better. He was in there for 3.5 weeks. This is him right after his Hep B shot. So he obviously wasn't too happy with that. His IV, they had to switch it, every couple of days into a different arm. And eventually they ran out of places to put it. So they had to put it, poor guy, in his head. But I guess that's a good place for babies because they can't reach and pull it out. So that's actually a common place to put it. This is him when he finally came home. This is evening number 1. And just so nice. And so these are what nights have been like, just hanging out. No filter on this, by the way. It's just
very cool.
Although we were using, it's a light bulb that you can change the colors. So we've been doing this, but we've been like, man, he just doesn't ever go to sleep at night. Turns out, after Chat GPTing it, you never want to use bluish night lights because it interrupts the melatonin that they create.
Really?
Yeah, it disrupts that. So you want to use warm light always.
There you go.
Just discovered.
Look at that.
I know. Isn't that adorable? So my brother-in-law, Frank Lombardo, we did a fun photo shoot. He was like asleep the whole time, almost. So there's fuzzy baby dragon. You want me to wear what now? And then look at that burrito baby.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. That was his first outing. We went to Westview Orchards, cider mill. And then here he is, month number 1, just soaring across the clouds. Super cool. But this is the Halloween episode. So let's get right to it. We got some comments really quick. So let's say hello here. And does this go through? Let's see this here. Okay. So what's up, Brittany? Hey, Mike. Hey, Dan. Hey, Matt. 77
hey,
Trooper.
Brittany.
What's up? Hey, I know you. Janine says, woohoo, congratulations. Thank you. Hearts. Congrats on the baby. Thank you so much. Thank you. Casey is doing great. She had to stay in the hospital for a little while as well, but she's such an incredible mom. She's doing great. Everyone's healthy. Red or pink light. Yeah, I didn't know. We've got an orange light cooking now, but let's see. Frank always delivers amazing photos. Yes, he does. Brian, what's up? All right, so we have a very special guest today, Emmy award-winning FX makeup artist, Dan Phillips. So Dan, you've got all these stories. We have all kinds of photos, all kinds of stuff that we're going to get through. But I just want to know, going back to the beginning, like, what were you like as a kid? Were you into prosthetics and makeup, or was the introduction just that kind of paved the way to that? Or like, what kind of shows were you watching? What kind of movies? What were you into?
Well, I was, to start off with, I was an inner city Detroit kid. I lived at McNichols and Mound, so in the ghetto, as they said.
Yeah.
And I always had a love for horror films and things scary, but my dad, who passed away years ago, used to take me to an old drive-in. Do you remember Bel Air Drive-In on 8 Mile and Shaner?
Yep.
Mhm.
My dad used to take me to that all the time, and I used to watch these old Italian splatter films. And
Oh my gosh.
he would fall asleep. I was like 12, 13 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And
so were you into Creature Feature and stuff on Saturdays?
Sir Graves,
yeah,
and all that. Oh my God,
yeah.
And I loved anything like that scary. And my dad would take me to those things because they never scared. I never got freaked out. I never went home and had nightmares or nothing like that, you know.
Yeah.
I just always wondered, how do they do that?
Yeah.
How do they make these monsters, you know? So I'd go home and I'd steal my mom's makeup and I'd put scars on my face and stuff like that, you know.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm sure, like you know, I sit in my room as a kid and I draw and I, you know, got some clay and I'd sculpt whatever I could sculpt. And, you know, mostly it was Play-Doh, you know, and yeah, it just kind of took shape in that form.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
My story's a little bit different. I, for example, was really into Spider-Man. Didn't have a Spider-Man costume, but realized quickly that if you take your underwear and you put it over your head, the two holes that your legs would go out of, if the holes are right here, it's like you've got the Spider-Man mask.
There you go. Yep. And yeah, the same way, you know, we, as nerdy kids like we were,
yeah,
you know, I just always had a love for that stuff. And I was one of those kids that always was, like I said, in my room. I did sports and stuff like that, but for the most part, it was always monsters. I loved them. And I loved the medium of makeup. I loved that whole, you know, Oopsie. Remember Oopsie the Clown? Back in the day,
Oopsie.
you know, Bozo and all that stuff. I just always had a fascination with that. And
now, were you afraid of clowns at all when you were a kid?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I always just had like I said, it was always just a wonderment about it, the makeup and how do they do that and what kind of makeup are they using and, you know, that kind of stuff. What is that blood made from? You know, how do they make that blood and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff is the stuff that I used to think about a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. So then as a kid transitioning into an adult, what was your pathway? How did you learn? Did you subscribe to like Fangoria magazine?
Well, I used to read it all the time. I read Fangoria all the time, and I read Famous Monsters of Filmland all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I always would look at those things like, you know, here I am in Detroit reading these magazines, and you know, I see these guys that are making these movies, and that's untouchable. You know, it's Hollywood. I can't do that stuff. I'm just a little kid in Detroit, you know. Well, I had an opportunity to apprentice under Dick Smith, who is considered probably the greatest makeup artist of all time, special effects guy. And I apprenticed under him, and he did movies like The Exorcist, Raging Bull, Godfather, Amadeus, Taxi Driver. You name it, he did it. The Hunger, Bowie's The Hunger, and just everything.
Yeah.
And I worked with him, and I got my professional certificate from him, basically. And what came back to Michigan, was on my way, and I did you know, a lot of little things here in Michigan. I remember back in the day, I did a cow's hoof for a Swatch watch commercial way back in the day,
Oh
like
my
in the
gosh.
80s, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I always, I'm sorry, by the way, at that time, to make a living doing this, I had to do something else, you know. So I got a job at Chrysler, and I was working at Chrysler on the docks, and I met my wife and got married and had kids. But I always had a shop, whether it was my basement or we had an apartment. I had 2 bedrooms. The other bedroom was a little shop I made,
Mhm.
and it was always involving me being creative in that world. And then years go by, and I don't know, man, if you remember this, but do you remember in New Baltimore there was a little company called Acme Special Effects back in the day? This was probably back in late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
Okay, well, they had this old church that they renovated into this little makeup or effects house, and I went in there one day, and Doug Jones was in there, and not that Doug Jones, a different guy, and he was working, and I walked up to him. I was like 16 years old, and I said, "Can I help you with something?" He goes, "Well, what can you do? Can you paint?" I'm like, "Well, I guess I can paint, you know." He brought these, like, they're about this big, these trees. They were like cable operated. He goes, "Well, I want you to whitewash these cables, these trees, excuse me." I said, "All right." So I whitewashed them all. Well, they ended up being the trees from Evil Dead that they wrap around the girl, you know, in the first Evil Dead movie and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was my little homage to that movie, because I never worked on it besides painting those trees, you know. And they sent them out because at that time they were doing reshoots, I think down in Tennessee or something. They weren't in Michigan anymore. And so yeah, years later, the guy was directing a film, and I worked on the film as a makeup artist. And I walked up to him, I said, "You probably don't remember me." And I told him the story, and he's like, "Oh my God, how you been?" You know, it was a pretty good, it was pretty cool all the way around, you know. But
oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
wild.
yeah, he was cool to let me have that experience. But I never got a full-time job there. I just, you know, did that little gig, and you know, that was really about it. I just kept doing makeups whenever I could do them, whether it was at a kids festival doing face painting or trying to learn prosthetics. I always did the medium of makeup some way, shape, or form. So, and it just started snowballing. You know, after I was working at Chrysler, they started doing, back in the mid 90s, they started doing crappy, and they started asking people to take buyouts. And I was like, well, if I don't try this, I'll be upset with myself that I never took a chance,
for the rest of your life. Sure.
So I left Chrysler. This is the chance, guys. I left Chrysler with 2 kids, a mortgage, a wife, and a dream.
Oh my gosh.
You know, a little bit of money in the bank, and that's about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't imagine. That's hardcore.
It was terrifying. And
Mhm.
and I opened the studio probably about a year later, and that's when the film incentives kicked in Michigan. And I started doing a lot of film work. I became a union makeup artist, and I started doing bigger films. And I started going out of state to do films and out of the country to do films and stuff. And it's been a crazy ride ever since. You know, I do big productions now that it's funny because I get some producers will say, "I didn't even want to call you because our stuff is so low budget." I'm like, well, if I'm at home and I'm gonna do nothing, I'll work. You know, let me, pay for my light bill. I don't care,
Yeah.
So, and I love being creative, and if I can work on a show where I get asked a lot, "What's your favorite show you worked on?" I was like, I like the indie films because I get more control over the characters I create.
That was one of my questions, was like, do you enjoy the process of being on, just as an example, working on Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy, where I'm sure there's so many artists, like, is there a regimen thing where everyone has to use the same kind of makeup and everyone has to start at a particular time and you have to do this, but you're not allowed to do, this and that? Is that inspiring to be surrounded by so many other people being creative, or is it kind of cool to be captain of your own ship on something smaller where you get to call the shots and kind of figure out what would be the best way to work with what?
Well, like I said, like in Oz, when I did Oz the Great and Powerful, that was Disney. And when I did that show, I'll tell you a quick story. So
you should show us something from.
Oh yeah, you want to see something from? Cool.
Yeah,
For
for sure.
All right.
For sure.
Wow.
This is cool.
When
Oh,
they
here.
wrapped, when we wrapped on Oz, we got. Excuse me, I'm sorry. When we wrapped on Oz, they all gave us a wrap gift, and they tore down a set, and each person that worked on the crew got an actual brick from Yellow Brick Road, and that's a real brick. And Disney sent them out and had them engraved for us. And I just think that's really dope.
That is so cool. It's an actual brick from the Yellow Brick
like
Road.
A real brick, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and that's something that, I mean, obviously they didn't sell those or market those. You
No.
can't go to the Disney store and buy those.
Only the crew got them. So I thought that was cool. And they numbered them.
MR says, nice to finally catch a stream. Dan Phillips, wow. Oh, yeah, zoom in on you guys. Nice.
Thank you, whoever that is.
It's MR.
Who's MR?
I don't know.
Hi, MR. Thanks for tuning in, brother. I appreciate you. I think that's a male. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, we got the brick. And when I'm working on that show, I was working on this little independent show in Michigan called Detention of the Dead. It was a cool little zombie film.
Yeah, that's where I met you.
Yeah, with your sister.
My sister,
yes. I was working on that show, and I get a phone call when I was working on it, and it was an LA number, and anybody at that time from LA, I knew who they were. They called my phone. I knew it. Well, I didn't know this number, and I answered. I was actually doing a makeup, and I answered. I go, hello. He goes, is this Dan? I go, yeah. He goes, this is Howard Berger. Now, Howard Berger, in my world, is the H from KNB, or he's Berger from KNB. He's the B. And that's the biggest effects house in the world. They do everything. Walking Dead. He got his Academy Award from Narnia. I mean, you name it. Their company's done it. Greg Nicotero, that's their company.
Okay.
He goes, and I go, who is this? And he goes, no, it's really Howard Berger. And I was like, oh my God, maybe it is him. And he goes, yeah, I'm in Michigan and I'm crewing up for this Oz thing. And I'm at your Union Hall. And he goes, there's like 10 people that said, I got to meet you. I'm like, all right. So what do I have to do? He goes, get your book and bring it down and meet me at Pontiac at the studios. When we had the studios down at Pontiac.
Yeah.
And he goes, so the next day I went down there with my book. And yes, I still had to show my book and all my goods that I could do this kind of stuff. And sure enough, Howard Berger comes out. He sits next to me. He takes my book and he looks through it real fast. He thumbs through it real fast. Then he calls me over and he goes, come here. And he starts asking me questions about the pictures. Like, what kind of glue did you use on this? What did you use for this? Just seeing if I had the goods to do this stuff, And he goes, well, I'm happy. And I said, so what does that mean? He goes, well, for the next 6 months, you're going to be part of my team on this show. And I'm like, oh my goodness, right? So on his team, there was about 20 of us. And around me in where I was working, there was at least 5 or 6 Academy Award winners that were on this team. And he goes, I always wanted to have my own team, my special group of people that, I could call the best in the business,
Yeah.
And I got the job. So make a long story longer, Howard Berger brought his group of 30-year KNB guys with him. They had their own room. Howard had his station, and all his KNB guys had their stations in Howard's room with Howard's key makeup artist. There was another corral that had about 20 stations, and our names were over the top of our stations, So he said, well, they're going to be coming in. This was on a Wednesday, and I was the only guy besides his group of KNB guys that were in Michigan at the time. The rest of the guys were coming in town from all over the country.
Yeah.
And he said, called me up on a Thursday, and he goes, would you like to work today? And I was like, out of the blue. I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, Sam Raimi wants to see what some of the Tinkers look like on set. So come on down. We're all the KNB guys plus Howard. We're going to do one, and I can do one, and we can send them on. So no problem, right? So I go down there, and he gives me my foam pieces, and I go to my station by myself. Now everything's dark besides my station's lit up.
Yeah.
And they're in their room with the door closed. And Howard goes, do the makeup, then bring him in and let me check them. I said, all right. So here I am out there, this little kid from Detroit, and I'm doing this makeup. And I'll tell you, this is my Rocky moment. I freak out. I go into the bathroom, and God bless you, my ex-wife Terry, I love you for this, but I call her up and I said, I don't know if I can do this. You know,
Dude.
yeah, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh
and
my gosh.
And she's like, I want you to go out there and look at those names above those stations. She goes, your name's above there for a reason. She goes, you need to do this and you're gonna kill it. And I said, all right. And so I did this makeup, best of my ability, and I brought it back in to show Howard the guys, right? First guy that comes up to my makeup was Gino Crognali. Gino Crognali is a 35-year veteran in the industry. He does everything. I mean, everything. He's everything.
Yeah.
And he's the one Howard and Greg DiMattero's right-hand man. And he looks at my makeup. If you're my makeup, he looks at it a couple times, looks at me, looks back at it, goes, nice job. He walks away. Howard Berger walks up, looks at my makeup, touches it a couple times. He goes, looks great. Send him to set. And I went, oh. And after that moment, you can't put me in a situation where I'm going to be nervous anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm just not going to be.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing in my career right there, to get that okay from him and them guys. And so he went to set. Everyone loved him. And I was asked to go to Hobbit from Howard.
Yeah.
Turned me on to that show.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was pretty scary.
And what was that like? Like just being in New Zealand? Like, oh my gosh.
It was good. It was good. You're talking Oz Great Powerful was probably the best experience of my life, career, I should say.
Yeah.
New Zealand, I had some issues, but it was still a great experience.
Yeah.
The makeups were amazing. The people that I worked with were amazing.
Yeah.
I was just ready to come home when I was ready to come home.
Yeah.
And that being said, the show, the guy that I worked on, one of the 13 Dwarfs, his name was Jed Brophy. If you're out there, Jed, how you doing? And he was the most amazing actor. He was so respectful for all the makeup. Yeah. And I mean, because if every time you put a big makeup on someone like that, because he was a big silicone, everything. Yeah. If you put a makeup on like that and they go away for the weekend, come back on Monday, and they go out to the ocean, get tanned, all my colors change. Yeah. And it makes a big deal for me. Yeah. So he was very respectful in the fact that he would always wear a hat and always, he was just the best. Oh, that's awesome. The best. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've got some comments, and then I want to rifle through some of these photos. And you got something that I want to check out too that you brought that I've been dying to see. Let's see. I've been commenting on videos. Yes, mail. Good to know. Brittany says, I have one of those bricks, believe it or not. A friend of my mom's worked on the construction of the sets of the movie. Oh my gosh, there you go. Yeah. He gave it to us as a gift.
That's very cool. Don't get rid
Carol,
of it.
So cool. I've always wanted to learn FX makeup, and Carol is a makeup artist. So what is the difference? Like, and you do all kinds of makeup. Like,
I do beauty as well.
Yeah, you do beauty makeup for film as well.
What I did, because I knew I didn't want to leave Michigan, I was like, so I'm thinking of Michigan and what I would have to do to be viable. Mm-hmm. I went back to beauty school and I learned beauty back in the day when it was Westmore Academy out in LA. Mm-hmm. It's not there no more, but I learned that world. And I did that because I wanted to be able to do the zombie and then the bride that the zombie kills. In Michigan, I knew all the auto shows and all the model shoots and stuff, all the music videos. I would have more of a chance to get work that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Sam Raimi. Yes, dude. My mom's friend also worked on sets for Greatest Showman. He also got to smoke a cigar with Hugh Jackman. Nice. Oh my gosh. That would be so fun. That'd be so cool. So do you have, this is probably a question I should save for later. I will save it for later. I want to see what you brought.
Want to see what I brought?
Yeah.
Okay. I brought this because you asked me to.
Yeah. I want to see. Oh my gosh. Oh. You having trouble? So you have to have it so that it's pushing it up slightly, but not too much. And that way the weight of it won't pull it down. And if you have too much, it'll like push it up. So if you leave it there, it should be good.
This is a real deal.
Oh my gosh.
That's the Emmy that I won.
Wow.
You can pick it up, do what you want with it. You're not gonna hurt it.
It's heavy.
It's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
And these are what this is. It's called a regional Emmy. So what they do is they have nationwide Emmys, and those are the ones like Walking Dead. Walking Dead is shown nationwide, and so those Emmys are just a little bigger. That Emmy is I won it for a commercial, and I gave you some of the pictures of the guy that I did for the commercial when I won it. But you can go on ValentineBaca.com and see the guy did Vladimir Lenin laying in his tomb. Big silicone makeup.
Get focus here. Get focus. There we are. Nice.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And it's funny on the bottom. You read this information, and what I can do with this Emmy is I can will it down one generation to my kids, but then after that, it's got to go back to the academy, and they put it in storage in memory of me.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I can't sell it or anything like that. Yeah.
But that makes it more special, kind of. That's
Yeah.
cool. And it's a way to be remembered. And
Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I bring it to Comic-Con now and stuff, and people always love to take pictures with it and stuff like that, It's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is so cool.
And one of the things I'm really proud of that Emmy for is when I won that thing, when I did the commercial, when these guys work like on Walking Dead and stuff like that, KMB and so forth, those shows are so big. And, when you work in their shops out there, you're like a painter or a sculptor or whatever, whatever specialty you are. And then they send all the pieces to a set. And at the end of the day, Howard Berger gets the Emmy because it's his company. When I won that Emmy, I did everything myself. I life casted the guy, I sculpted the pieces, I molded the pieces, I applied the pieces, everything I did. I was a one-man show. So I was happy that I was able to do all that, show my skill sets for all of that and win it,
So cool.
Oh, are you out?
Yep.
Well, here I got I've got some photos I want to rifle through. I've got about 12, and then I've got some stuff I want to chat about really quick, and then 12, and then 12, kind of going back and forth. These are just in random order, just how they fell in. So I just want some quick thoughts or stories behind each of these. What are we what are we looking at here?
One right there, that was I get commissioned a lot now that I'm more in Michigan more now, and I get commissioned to do a lot of busts for collectors. That is my Lon Chaney Jr. tribute bus.
So this is something that people could buy.
They buy them.
Yeah, that is so cool.
It's off. You can go on my website, and if you want to purchase one, you can purchase one. But they're handmade, each one per order. They take about 6 weeks to make, and I really like him. I'm going to.
What is your website?
www.dpmakeupstudios.com.
dp.makeup
www.dpmakeup.
Oh, DP
Makeup Studios with the S.com. And there's information on that for that bust and everything else. And I know it hasn't, I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't been updated in a minute. We're going to be doing new classes and so forth that are going to be on the website that you can sign up for.
That was the thing I was going to mention earlier. You obviously, your mentor must have left a lasting impression on you, because I know you're really passionate about, and I know some of your students, you're very passionate about teaching, and from time to time you have different workshops that people can sign up for and learn all kinds of cool techniques, and you have different projects, seasonal projects that you'll have and stuff.
Yeah, I do. I try to, give back whenever I can. And it's a blessing that I'm able to do that for people. I look at people, if you have the passion, I can teach any monkey how to make this stuff. But if you have the passion to really want to get good at it, that's what's going to set you aside from other people. Just like you teach people how to draw. You can teach them how to do a circle, but at the end of the day, if they had the passion and really want to take that circle to the next level, they'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's the same with makeup. That guy right there.
Yeah.
He was an awesome actor I worked with, and it was for a short with the Decca brothers. I don't know if you guys know who the Decca brothers are, but they're a couple guys from France, amazing visual directors. They're brothers, and they did a short, and I was involved in it. And this guy was the main actor, and he's an awesome actor. And I just thought it was a cool picture.
Yeah, super cool. Oh, this one didn't flip. It was, I don't know why this one didn't
That
turn.
was I did a makeup demo at a Comic-Con, and I did that in about 45 minutes, that whole demo. And it was fun to do. It was just a foam rubber demo, and everyone loved it. So
super cool. Oh, I don't know why this one didn't turn. That's weird.
well, that one was, I taught a mask making class at my studio.
Yeah.
And that was, I did a ape, because I love gorillas.
Yeah.
I did an ape sculpture as a demo for them. And that whole ape ended up being about 250 pounds of clay.
Yeah.
It was massive. I mean, big, huge thing
Sure.
on the bench. And it was so big that we had to take 2x4s underneath the table to prop the table up. So it
Oh my
wouldn't
gosh.
bow the banquet table.
And then what's the idea from here, that you would like use this
molds
as
of
a
that.
mold and then make a rubber mask out of it?
Yeah, you use this, and you basically divide it in half, a front half, a back half, and you make a plaster mold, front and back half, pull it apart, remove all the clay, put it back together, and fill it with rubber.
Wow.
I was blessed on this. This was from Isra. Tom, you know Tom Zellin?
Mm-mm.
He's a AD on a lot of stuff, but he directed this movie. And
That's so cool.
yeah, my first time I ever made a spaceship.
Yeah.
And I made this with a lot of help from my one of my family members, my cousin Ed Witcher.
Wow.
And it ended up being on the poster, so I was really happy about that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. This guy, he was in. I did this makeup on him. He was in Eloise, the movie.
It might be. Is it this?
Yep,
the same
same guy.
Okay.
Now he's the guy. Did you ever see? Oh God, the movie with DiCaprio where they shaved the girl's head. Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
He was the one that bet them for $10,000 to shave the girl's head. So
yeah,
he's a bit player. He's in a lot of different little things.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was really cool. One of the things he couldn't do though, he was really allergic to the blood.
Oh.
So we had to use special blood on him. And
yeah,
he loved the way that we did the makeup because it didn't bother his face or anything. So
aw,
yeah, he was a good guy.
so cool.
That is a sculpture that we did of a eel for Isra 88 again, or Beyond the Edge. Excuse my language.
Okay.
They changed the name.
Yeah.
When it went to Europe, but I think I have pictures of the finished eel on there too as well. Yeah, that's
Okay,
the same
yeah.
eel, but it's the same situation. We basically take the sculpture, make molds of it, and fill it with silicone and paint it.
Mm-hmm.
And that eel we put in a tank, and we had rods coming off of it. We made it swim and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
That is so cool.
That right there was an arm that I made for that same movie. And
Yeah.
the reason that hair was so long is because we hand punched the hair one by one.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah.
I think that if you put the other pictures of the same arm in there, the hair is shorter.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. The one where it's hanging out of the bag. Yeah. That's the finished hand.
Oh, yeah. It's upside down too. Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's what we do is we make it long one by one with a needle, and then we shave it down.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. It was fun.
Wow.
That was done for Our Magazine for a photo
wow.
shoot. Yeah.
Okay.
I did a bunch of stuff for Our for a while there. But that was like for the best of and made the cover.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah, that was pretty fun.
Love it. Oh, I gotta know about this.
That was I get a commission from a young lady, and she goes, my boyfriend just loved Iron Maiden. And she goes, can you make an Eddie for me? And so I said, sure. So I made this Eddie, and he was about this big off the table. And he comes with a base, his eyes lit up, and I sculpted him, made a mold. And she paid extra because what I'll do is if you pay extra, I'll do what's called a one-off, and I'll destroy the mold. So it's the only one.
Yeah.
And she's got the only one of that.
When I was a kid, I had a friend who had all of the Eddie posters around his room. The funny thing was, he was my best friend growing up. Pretty sure, because we listened to the same music and stuff all the time, pretty sure he didn't know a single Iron Maiden song, and I didn't either. We didn't care. We weren't into Iron Maiden, but we were obsessed with the album covers and the posters.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was neat that we discovered, I don't know if this is a common thing amongst Iron Maiden fans, but we noticed that the artist's signature is hidden in every single poster. So the one that where he's like a mummy, if you look in the hieroglyphics on the pyramid that's close to him, you'll see it there, and it'll be in a tombstone somewhere else.
Well, I hear Iron Maiden is very, very particular about it, that character. Like they all have to sign off on anything that is used for them.
Okay.
And it's very, because I know a buddy of mine who did some of the stuff for on their stage.
Okay.
And they were like sticklers about everything.
Yeah, I bet.
That was a fun makeup. It was a girl. She was a real pretty girl, and she was on The Bachelorette or The Bachelor.
Okay.
And I wish I had the other picture of just how pretty she was. She took a class at my studio. And I did this makeup, but it was cool because it was a demo at a Comic-Con, and the whole back of the head lit up with fiber optic lights.
Yeah.
And it was really a fun makeup to do.
Awesome. MR says there was always a controversy about his name when I was growing up, whether or not his name was Evil Eddie or not. Interesting. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just remember him as Eddie.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't know. I remember, this is just a random thing, but I remember there was a kid that down the street, he was from Ireland, and he was just staying for a week, and like the parents of this house came over, and I had long hair at the time, and they said, "Hey, we have a boy who's your age who's staying with us. He's got long hair. He's from Ireland. He doesn't really know any people and stuff. Can you just hang out with him and like just kind of show him around and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Really cool guy. But I remember I asked him, he had long hair, and I'm like, "Bro, what's up?" So like, what are your favorite bands? And at the time I was really into like Van Halen and Poison and more party bands. I was like, "What bands are you into?" And he goes, my favorite band is Faith No More and Iron Maiden.
Well, in Europe, the people over there are like, they're so eclectic. They like one thing and then they're like something total opposite. It's kind of crazy.
Eddie the Head, I think, is correct.
Cool.
All right, yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Thanks for the this guy right here.
I'm sorry, these are sideways. I don't know why these are all of a sudden these are sideways.
That is my boss, who I work for now. I do some custom prosthetics for amputees.
Yeah.
And that is Jeff Ropp. Jeff, if you're watching, I'll see you tomorrow. But he does community theater, and he was in the Addams Family, and he was Lurch.
No way.
Yeah, so we did him.
That is
Lurch.
Awesome.
And the next picture, if you put it in,
it might be after the next bit. I split these up, so gotcha. It might be coming up.
Well, I did the mold of that sculpture that we did for him for the if you put it out, if you did or didn't, but he's been my model for a couple things.
Yeah,
and he loves putting the makeup on, and he just loves that whole world. So it's great to have a boss that's cool like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Nice Lurch. Great work. Absolutely. I'm going to shift gears just for a minute here. I wanted to chat about some Star Wars happenings real quick. It is my 30th anniversary. There's been so much going on. I actually have 3 more projects that are coming out soon, and I hope before the end of the year. So it kind of ties into my 30th anniversary, because man, what a year it has been. This is the Lando cover that I did for the official magazine in Germany. This is a cover I did for Journal of the Wills, but I wanted to chat really quick about Jedi Bibliothek, but it's Bibliotech is how you pronounce that, right?
I don't know. This is my first time hearing this. So,
well, this website is based in Germany, but they also have English, and it's like, it is the ultimate Star Wars library, anything with like to do with books. They talk about new books coming out, comic books, graphic novels, the kids' books, all the things. They've been on my radar forever. And I've met them before, but when I was in Germany, I got to chat with them for a while. And I was sharing with them, I was telling them about one of the books that I had done the cover for. This is Tales from the Empire. This became a New York Times bestseller. This is what it used to look like. And then after Disney, everything became Legends. So they re-released everything under the Legends banner.
To me? What do you mean by Legends?
Well, all of the expanded universe stuff, basically everything was canon in Star Wars. Like if it was in a movie, if it was in a comic book, if it was in a book, the problem is it didn't always make sense. There were issues where like, wait a minute, if in this comic this happened, it says in this novel that right after Return of the Jedi, this happened. So which one was it? It couldn't be both, you know? So there were a little bit of continuity things. Plus, when The Force Awakens came out, that changed continuity as well because Chewbacca dies at one point in the books and everything, and then he's not dead in The Force Awakens. So anyway, the way to fix that is they put everything under this Legends banner, and it's kind of neat. It's the idea that Star Wars, even in the Star Wars universe, is kind of a mythology that like, and this is kind of emphasized in The Force Awakens, where Luke Skywalker is like a mythical character. And when Rey learns that it's the hunt for Skywalker, it's like, you know, like that's even a real person. Luke Skywalker exists, you know? So the idea that even in the Star Wars universe, there's so much talk about, you know, it's an epic thing that the Death Star was destroyed. Who destroyed it really? And that you have all these stories and not all of them line up. But let's be honest, we look back at our own history and we're not even sure how much of it is real and how much of
almost like the Bible type stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so this is the Legends, but then there's other versions of the book. This I think is either the Polish version. This here is the original art that I did for the cover, but the wonderful peeps at Jedi Bibliotech website, and this is their site right here, and I can real quick pull up their website. You definitely need to check it out, but they were cool enough to hunt something down for me. Are you ready?
I'm ready
for this. Oh, that didn't do that. There we go. All right, they sent me this.
Grand opening.
This taped really well. Oh my gosh, I probably should have grabbed an X-Acto knife.
I was gonna say, I got one. One knife? I have one.
You have one?
I do.
Always prepared.
Always prepared? You're a Boy Scout. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's serious beeswax.
Oh, you mess with me.
While he's opening that, tell us more about your Emmy here.
I won that Emmy for a makeup I did for a Valentine vodka commercial. I changed a guy to look like Vladimir Lenin laying in his tomb. And if you go on Detroit Valentine Vodka / Vladimir Lenin, you can watch a commercial on YouTube. It's a pretty cool makeup. I love the makeup, so check it out.
Now here's a very important question, very serious here.
Sure.
Ketchup, yes or no?
Ketchup for blood?
Probably not. Probably, I would say probably not. It's too thick, right? It's too thick, and the color's off. And
depends on what you use it for. Let me tell you something real quick. Okay. Before then, we're going to get back into Matt. Mm-hmm. But I was on location one time, and we had to go out of where our base camp was, and I brought my kit with me. Well, in a movie, sometimes they don't run them linearly, which means that if someone gets a black eye, it doesn't. Every scene doesn't, you might have the black eye in one scene, and the same day it might be no black eye. And, so this kid had a black eye or a cut on his face. Well, in this scene that we were doing, it needed to be scabbed over later on. And I didn't have anything with me. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? So I went to Craft Services and got a breaded pork chop and scraped the breading off and put it in latex, mixed it up and made a scab. And it was perfect.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we use what we use to do what we do. So,
yeah. That's amazing.
Big time tip there. Okay.
Yes, bread and pork chop. Save the day.
Mhm.
All right.
I haven't reeled yet. Let me know.
I've never held one of these in my hands. I've seen them, and I didn't have it. I didn't bring it up here, but this is a German copy of Fluch der Rebellen.
There we are.
Awesome.
That is dope.
Oh my gosh, I've always wanted a copy
And
of
you
this.
did the cover?
I did the cover. Yeah, this is it's the same book. It's the same book cover, but it's got slightly different graphic design. Wow, this is so fun. I can't believe that I finally have this.
Can I ask you a question, Matt?
Yeah.
When you're dealing with what, make sure there's no water on this.
Yeah.
From your drink.
Oh, and here's this is from this will make a fine addition to your collection. Enjoy. Ines. Thank you, Ines.
That
so
is really cool,
I'm
man.
just curious if it says my name on the inside, even though it's German.
Matt and Schlagen.
Yeah, Matt and Schlagen.
Buschen.
Yeah,
Matt
I don't
St.
know.
Pauli.
I don't see it. I also need my glasses. But
I'm sure it is.
it's probably here somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe far away. Yeah, I don't see my name, but that's okay.
It's in there. Trust me, it's in there. You do the fucking cover, it's in there.
Rock and roll, man.
So cool. Oh, I'm so glad that I have this. Oh, anyway, I should have brought these out first. So this is my collection so far. So this is the original cover. Right? And then this one is also the original cover. This is signed to me from Jeremy Bulloch, who played Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace.
That's all. He's dead now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy. Well, he had a good life.
And then
God
this is just an alternate, I think maybe a second release before it went to Legends. Slightly different. They have the splash at the bottom now instead of at the top. And then this
now is the story writing different because of the different legends compared to the other ones?
It's short stories. It's a collection of short stories, and one of them is written by Timothy Zahn.
And who is Timothy Zahn?
He wrote the Heir to the Empire series. He wrote a bunch of Star Wars books, but the very first, if you remember in the late 80s, like there was no Star Wars anything. And then there was 3 novels that came out once every couple of years. It was the first one was called The Heir to the Empire.
And he did it all those?
He wrote all of those. Fans loved it. It went over well with fans.
And did you do any of the artwork for him?
I've done artwork for other stories he's written, but not those initial 3. And look at this now, the German addition to my collection. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Jedi Bibliotech. Woo! So they've got an awesome website, awesome resources. You definitely need to check them out. They've got, if I rifle through here, they've got just such an incredible website, and they've got all the new things. You can see, I just grabbed this maybe the other day, but already they've got highlights from New York Comic-Con, which just happened this weekend, and they're already on top of all the new announcements. So, you know, that's one of the neat things about Star Wars is everyone loves the movies, but you've got some fans that are really into the comic books, some fans that collect the trading cards, some fans that they love the movies, but it's the novels. They just really sink into all the novels that come out. And it's one of the things I love about Star Wars. It's so much more than just the movie. Some people collect the action figures or the Legos and everything. So if you're into the books, and you don't know about this website, you need to go check it out. Follow them on all the socials. And they're just really, really, really great people. I've met them a number of times. Thank you, Ines. Thank you so much.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
About Star Wars and your art?
Yeah, absolutely.
When I do stuff for film sometimes, I'll get I can't step out of my zone as far as what they want or need. In other words, a quick example, working on The Hobbit, I was given everything up to even the colors of the makeup that I was using. The reason being is because a lot of times they already have the freaking toys made, before I do the makeups. So my question to you is, when you do these characters, do you ever get like backlash from those people saying, well, Vader's eyes need to be smaller, and do you get a lot of that as well?
Not very often, thank goodness. And part of it is I'm such a fan, I make sure not to put the Millennium Falcon cockpit on the wrong side or something like that. So for the most part, I've been very lucky, and the answer is no. There's been a bunch of things over the years. It doesn't happen often, but I remember like the first thing that I actually had to correct was there was an illustration of 2 rebel commandos that were walking into a cantina, and they were walking down a number of steps. And what the image was supposed to be is there was a woman trooper in the front, male trooper a little bit behind her off to the side, and she was supposed to kind of have a hand over like, hey, hold on a second, like, because she sees something, hears something, can't remember what it was. And then the trooper behind her also kind of looking around, stepping down the steps. Well, because she was a little bit lower and because he was a little bit higher, I drew her so her hand was just kind of over like that. Even though he was a couple steps back and a little bit higher, where I drew her hand, it was just right over his chunk. How anyone would have put that together, I have no, like, you would literally need to do serious cropping to like, oh, I see because clearly they were feet, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet away from each other. Still, her hand just happened to be right between his legs. So I had to change the hand like this to the, a hand like that kind of thing. That was, I remember that was because I went for like maybe a couple of years before having to make a change. And then that was like, I remember that as the first one.
What about situations where you get put in a large drawing and you get to a cantina scene?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get any freedom to make any of the creatures yourself?
Depends on what it is. In some cases, yeah, I've gotten to create aliens.
And they have to okay those aliens, though.
Yeah. But sometimes if it's the Star Wars cantina and it's supposed to be from A New Hope, then I can't just insert. It has to be the aliens that we see in the film. But there's been all kinds of things. And in fact, one of the coolest things, do I have one here? I don't. I'm going to be releasing a video on it soon. One of my first gigs was a book called the Star Wars Adventure Journal, where there was an article on the R series droids, which is like R2D2, R5D4. And they had the P1, the R1, the R2, the R3, the R4, the R5, and the R6, which you can see in the movies. They basically all look like R2D2, but they have a slightly different head. Different colors and everything. So what the cool thing was, what they said is, we don't have an R7. Would you like to be the first to illustrate the R7? And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
That's huge, man.
So the person that wrote the article, Pablo Hidalgo, is actually, he's one of the head of story at Lucasfilm now. So he's gone on to do incredible things. He was the one who actually wrote the article, and he did like a loose sketch kind of what he was thinking. And it was just a 2D drawing on like lined paper. So I started with that. I kind of added some of my own little things to it. But so I was the first to officially illustrate the R7. Well, here's the cool thing. Since then, the R7 has been in games. There are Hasbro action figures that you can get. I have a collection of them all. They have so many different versions. And mine because the shapes on the front are different. And mine has the head shape is like R2D2, but instead of a circle, it's a triangle lens.
Oh, really?
And so they have like glow in the dark ones. They have all kinds. And I was the first person to draw it, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the whole back of the head says Matt Bush. Yeah.
No, not that.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
So sometimes there's cool things like you never, little did I know way
water.
back then. Oh yeah. And I've also got if you want another Vernors, there's one here.
Vernors is great.
Yeah. And do you need more ice?
Yes, I do actually. Thank you.
Here you go. Help yourself.
Thank you, brother.
So let me jam into just a couple more Star Wars things real quick.
Yes, please do.
So there's a couple videos out of the big show that I had in Germany. There was some cool news things. This is me standing outside. There were these big panels of my artwork. This is from the show. Again, these are more, there's like news bits that I was interviewed for. Oh, someone just asked which one was named MB7 or something like that. Great question. That's MBRA7, and that is the Death Star droid. The Death Star droid that was in the silver. It looked like C-3PO, but he had kind of like a bug face. So that used to just be called the Death Star droid because they never came up. When they released the action figure at first, they didn't have a good name for it. In the late 90s, I illustrated these articles for Star Wars Kids magazine. That's always been one of my favorite robots. So I had the Death Star droid teaching kids how to draw Star Wars. And I would always paint, the bug-looking alien holding a pencil and drawing and stuff. I named the droid MBRA7 and MB, obviously from Matt Bush. Not really putting a lot of thought into it. I just that's just what I named it. When Hasbro re-released the figure in the 2000s, instead of calling it the Death Star droid, which didn't make sense because the silver version of that droid you saw in the Sandcrawler, you never saw. There was a black version you see walking really far away.
You're really fucking nerding out right now. I don't know all that, but go ahead.
I know. Anyway, so when they re-released the figure, the figure is called MBRA7.
That's great.
Yeah.
If anybody can stump Matt with the Star Wars question, I'll give you a free 8x10 of the Hobbit. I'll send it to you.
There you go. Try stumping me.
Postage.
One question, and I'll send it to you. Send me your address.
There's a new video on landscapes. There's a new video on foreshortening. I released a new video on a tour from last year of the American film market. The American film market is happening in like 3 weeks. So if you're interested in what that's all about, you can check out my video to see if that's something that might be cool for you. I have a brand new series, a brand new tutorial series of how I illustrated this Vader's World piece. And episode 1 and 2 are out right now. You can check those out on my YouTube channel. Episode 3 drops on Tuesday. All right. What is the story here?
That is the makeup I did when I won my Emmy. That is a makeup of Vladimir Lenin laying in his tomb. Very big makeup, a big silicone makeup. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7 pieces on him.
Wow.
And the poor guy was not even an actor. They just found him riding a bike outside. He kind of resembled Lenin. So they asked him if he wanted to do it, and he said, sure. And the guy had to lay there in that makeup for like 9 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Thank God he didn't have to talk or anything. He was just laying there. But he was a big trooper. And
it's out of power? Oh, okay. You can just do the phone then. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Got this right.
And he was amazing. And like I said, I was saying earlier, one of the things I'm proud about that makeup is I did everything on it. I life casted, sculpted, applied. I punched the hair for the mustache and beard, goatee, I should say, and everything on it. And it was a big makeup to do. They got right up on him. That's the real Vladimir Lenin, what he looks like.
Wow, that's incredible.
And that's the guy, the one I did.
Yeah.
And the whole commercial, like I said, you can go on YouTube and look up Valentine Vaca Lenin spot or something, and it comes up. But the very end of the commercial, they talk about they punch in on his tomb, and they're talking. The best vodka was awarded you know, and it wasn't from Russia. And it goes all the way to Lenin's eye, and a tear comes out of his eye. It was from Detroit, you know.
Yeah.
And I did the tear also. I had a little dropper.
Yeah.
I just went like one time, boop, and moved it, and it fell perfect, and they used it. No CGI or nothing. Yeah,
and it just landed right on the duct and then came down.
It was perfect. Yeah, you should. If you can pull the video up, you should check it out. It's only like 30
I can't.
seconds.
They won't see it. They won't see it if I.
But yeah, it was a fun makeup to do. He was in it all day, unfortunately, but the makeup was. I was proud of it.
So cool.
That was a makeup I did for that's my buddy and cohort. He does all of my Comic Cons with me. He's my model. His name is Mike Parent, and he's a really good guy. And loves all this. He loves getting his
intern
to buy at one point.
Okay.
And he just loves to. He used to be in the haunt world, doing all the haunted houses and stuff. And he loves to be my model, so he comes there. And
that's incredible makeup.
And I did. One of the things I get that I'm proud about these makeup demos is that I only got 45 minutes to do them. From start to finish, yeah. And I'm talking at the same time on stage.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So and all these pieces, none of them are custom. I always just use pieces that I have at the shop or something.
But you're still like you're painting it and stuff, right?
Yeah. I do a lot of. If I can paint a little bit of it beforehand, I'll do that. But for the most part,
you've got to mesh it in with the makeup around the eyes. And
everything's done on set. Yeah, right on stage. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah. So.
Yeah. Airbrush for 45 minutes.
Airbrush on that, just the blue, the stripe on his face, and that was like a very last minute thing. I said, he looks like he should have like something about marking. So we did that on set, right on stage, I should say. And most of that though is all dry brushing. So Matt, I'm sure knows what that is. It's basically I'll black them out, and then we'll take a gray or a white and just real lightly go over all the details. And that really pops everything. So, and it's a quick, easy way to paint something like that. Because he did have a lot of like reptilian type of sculpting to him.
MR says, all right, I got my stump question. In A New Hope, 4 rebel ships survived the battle for Yavin. Wedge and Luke in X-Wings, Chewie and Han in the Falcon. Who is in the X-Wing? Oh, boy.
It says Y-Wing?
Gosh, yeah. Who's in the Y-Wing?
Come on, man. This is my shit that's going to have to go in the market.
Oh, my gosh.
This is from which episode?
Episode 4, the first Star Wars movie. So Wedge and Luke are in X-Wings. Chewie and Han are in the Falcon. Who's in the Y-Wing? Gold Leader? I'm losing so much street cred right now. Oh
is that the answer?
I think
yeah. Impressive. I know. Okay.
Yeah. So cool. All right, so I don't know why some of these are. I did the thing where it wasn't supposed to rotate any of them, but some of these just.
That was another makeup demo I did. That's my son, and we did like kind of a Lost Boys type of a makeup where we did the brow like a vampire brow. That's pretty.
Where's this at? I can see the speakers up there.
That is at oh goodness the casino up at by oh my goodness, Central Michigan. What's that casino?
Oh, I don't know.
The casino is by
Eagle something.
Yeah, Soaring Eagle.
Soaring
Eagle. And we were on stage for that, and that was a pretty fun makeup to do. I got to do it on my kids have been my models since they've been 10 years old.
I'm sure.
So, but DJ, that's my guy I did on Hobbit.
Yeah.
He was a big makeup. Name is Jed Brophy. And he consisted of. The way we did that makeup on that show was we had a foam rubber cap that was it was about this thick. I don't know if you guys can see, about that thick, and it went on first, and it went on like so, and we glued it all the way around him. On top of that foam rubber, we did all the silicone pieces that blended onto his face, so it made his head look big and hydrocephalic, like a oversized dwarf, I should say. The ears were just slip rubber ears. Then another person came. I did the eyebrows, but then a girl came in and she did the hair, and the the pieces consisted of a forehead piece, a nose, and cheek pieces. So everything. Jed would come into into the studio or my trailer at like 4 a.m, and he would just lay back and fall asleep, and like 2.5 hours later, he'd wake up and look like that. So, but he was just an amazing guy and just loved the makeups. And real funny, you're talking about your gross story. Here's my gross story. So what happens with this, that's all silicone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the movie for probably about 3 weeks. I'm just getting to know Jed really well. And I did his makeup. That was my guy every day. And I did work a couple times as well. But Jed, we were on this big mountainside, and we were doing this thing where they're carving through the side of a mountain. And what happens with these makeups, like foam rubber, unlike silicone, foam rubber will suck the sweat into the foam. So if you got foam on, it'll just suck the sweat, and you can't do nothing with it. Okay. That stuff right there, the sweat will build up behind the piece. And so what happens is you'll because the pieces are so translucent, you'll be able to see the sweat building up like a pool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to touch your face. So what you have to do is you have to take the piece, push the sweat to an edge that lift the edge and release the sweat.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm on this side of this mountain with Jed, and I see this big sweat pocket. I'm working on this piece, and it gets all the way down to his eyebrow, and I lift it. I bring it down, and it squirts right in my mouth. And he looks at me. I look at him. And he goes, "Well, I guess we're best friends now, mate." And I said, "Yeah, I guess we're best friends now." So that was my gross story. So I feel your pain.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
You gotta.
Yeah. Cheers for
Yeah.
taking one for the
Thanks,
team.
Jed.
Oh my gosh.
But the sweat was, because they were in like 3 layers of wool suits.
Yeah.
And some of the guys, the big fat dwarfs and stuff, were skinny guys, but they had these big fat suits on, and they had those things that they put on for the mascots, where they plug them in, and they have like cooling systems on them and stuff. But still, we take because their hands and their arms went all the way up to here, and they were silicone. We take them off at the end of the day and just dump the sweat out of them. And it was crazy. It was crazy. They were just troopers, though. Every day they loved it.
Yeah.
That was the orc we did.
Wow.
That orc, I only assisted on that orc one time, but he was Bog. And when we got back to the States, I started watching the movies like everybody else. And for whatever reason, they CGI'd all the orcs. And that was our practical version of the same one that they CGI'd. And it was great because I read an article when all that happened, and it had my orc on there, and it said when CGI doesn't work. And it was so I was like pretty happy that our orc was in the talks of that, because the guy was named Ivan. He was from Poland, and he was just a monster. He come in.
Yeah.
That was great.
So cool.
That is my lovely daughter.
Oh.
And she is now 21.
Wow.
And she did a test makeup also for me when I was at Eric Steele's shop.
Yeah.
And I did a shop makeup on that for an open house.
Okay.
And she sat there and I applied that makeup, and then people got to take pictures with her.
I did.
And
I took a picture
did
with
you?
her,
Yeah. She was great, and she's now at Michigan State, and she's doing great. And that was Sydney. So both of my kids were apes at one point.
Wow.
Everyone, I always get asked when I started doing this stuff,
Yeah.
That's when I was about 16.
Wow.
I was working, I don't know if you remember in Roseville. You remember Lauer's Novelties in Roseville? No, on Gratiot and Martin.
Maybe.
Wally Lauer right there. He's the owner. And I was working there, and we used to do these little B movies all the time. He had a friend of his that did these B movies, and I used to do all these makeups for him. And that was me working with Wally on doing one of I think I did a screw in his head or something like that. But that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's the makeup I did on him back when I was
great.
Like 16. Yeah. Oh, that's my cousin. that is Elon Musk. I did a makeup on him. Not on him, but
to make someone look like
him.
That's so wild.
Yeah, we got pretty close. The actor was a lot heavier than Elon Musk was in real life. But I think for the most part, we captured the essence of what he looked like.
For
And it
sure.
was,
You
yeah,
really captured it in
yeah, and it was
here
for
and
a
in,
it was for a what was the oh god, the Ford did oh god, when
commercial or
yeah,
something?
but it was for the show only executives.
Mm.
What was that big god, it was a car they released, a truck that they released.
The Bronco?
And the Bronco, thank
Okay.
you. And he was in the commercial, he was supposed to be walking around like he was a security guard, kind of looking at what they were doing and stuff, so he was a lot of fun. The actor was cool, and I think we captured for the most part but they ended up not using it because they thought it looked too much like him and they didn't want to get sued. So
Good call on Blue. I know dry brushing. Braids are almost a basket on that beard. Oh my gosh.
yeah, the beard, the hair work on that show was just absolutely amazing. She was awesome, and the girl that did the hair on him, and I mean, what was really cool about that is that they had like 4 sets of different hair. Like there was a couple scenes where they were in barrels going down waterfalls and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and his hair had to be fall, and so that
Mhm.
was a whole different setup.
Yeah.
And they never told us, because we shot for all 3 when I was there, and I was there for 6 months, something like that. And they never told me what they were filming. I never got sides. I never got a script or nothing.
Yeah.
You just went there and they told you what makeups to put on, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so when I got home, I watched the movies. I said, "Oh, I did that part." I said, "Oh, I did that part."
Yeah.
So each movie, I did a little bit of each movie.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott Jones, what's going on? I used to do makeup stuff from Wally. I painted his back sign.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Wally, I worked at that painting picture when I'm doing that makeup on Wally's when I worked there. I used to work there and work in the makeup area. So I worked there when I was in high school.
Learned cold foam on my own.
Nice.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah.
So cool. Oh, there it is. There's the
change that. Get rid of
yeah.
that. Get rid of that. This one, it was really cool because when I started working for ROP Orthopedic Clinic, which is a custom prosthetics company, they had a company that did a thing where they would send you a rubber foot shell that was put on a prosthetic leg, just the bottom of the shell, and they let you decorate it however you want. People make it in cars or whatever, and I made it into my favorite band, Kiss. And the only thing that had to happen was you had to be able to see the foot shell. So I gave you other pictures in there. I don't know.
I don't know if I have those.
No,
I might have. Those might have been ones I
no,
did.
yeah, you did.
Sorry. Oh my gosh, it's upside down.
Yeah, in the back of the head, you could see the whole foot shell, and the whole head is a foot shell. And I sculpted over the top of the foot shell, and I sculpted the body, and we did the base on a 3D printer at work. And I'm really proud of that because they take all those foot shells and they put them in a big conference, and they do a silent auction, and we had the most money ever raised for ours.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was really cool and fun to do. I wish I would have kept him, but
and
that was I get asked a lot to do these like small snippet of movies to raise money for the big one, almost like making a trailer.
Yeah.
And they don't
forget what they call a proof point or point of
proof or whatever.
Like that. Yeah.
Or a trailer. I do a lot of trailers or whatever.
Proof of concept is what I was thinking of.
Yes. Yeah. But this guy was a ghost that came back, and he was got burned alive or whatever. But he came back in this makeup and was a pretty fun, cool guy to work with.
MR says it's okay if the pics are upside down or right side up. It's all good. We can rotate and use our necks. That's true.
Oh, so this is since about 9 years ago, I'll tell you how this all came about if you guys want to know. About 9 years ago, I was at a Comic-Con, and I had all my silicone legs and arms and stuff on a bench at my station where I was showing off what I did for movies. And this guy walks up and he looks at my stuff and he goes, "You could probably do what I do in my world." I said, "Well, what do you do?" He said, "Well, I'm a prosthetist." I said, "Well, I always knew that some of my skill sets correlated. I just didn't know how much,
Now, wait, you have to say that again. A prosthetist? Because it almost sounds like something else.
Prosthetist.
Prosthetist.
Yes. And he is the guy who fits.
It's not the same thing we got
No,
last weekend.
no,
Mike.
no. You probably would like to be though, but he is the guy that would fit an amputee, whether he's an arm amputee or leg amputee, with a prosthetic. And I am a prosthetic technician. And so he said, you know, if you ever want to come and see my studio, come on by. And at the time, he gave me his card, and I got sent overseas to work on a film. I think it was Hobbit or whatever. About a year later, I came back to the same Comic-Con. The guy walked back up to me, and I go, I kept your card. I said, I really wanted to meet you, you know. So we had a dinner, and it just ended up working out great. There's only 4 of us that work there, and I got the whole lab myself. And this doctor basically took me under his wing and showed me everything. And I've been there 10 years now, and I love being creative. This is a socket I made for a lady who Ace Frehley. My band is Kiss. I love Kiss. But I get to do all kinds of things. And you know, it's funny. I'll tell you a quick story. When I first was working there, we had a quadriplegic come in, and he could move his shoulders, but he's in a wheelchair, move his shoulders and move his arms a little bit. But he had these gloves that he wore that had these sticks coming off the gloves that had little like erasers on the end. And that's what he would do to move papers around and stuff with. So I told Jeff, who is the owner of the shop, I said, Jeff, I said, we could probably make something for him where he could be more active, you know. So Jeff said, okay, well, let's make something. So what we did was we made a shoulder harness, like you would, like the old cops wear, like a gun where they put the pistol here with it comes over their shoulders. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, it had a spring on the back, and it had a wire that came down like a brake cable that went to a hook. That all he had to do was go like this. It would move the spring and open and close the hook.
Yeah,
and he could pick things up and move things around and stuff.
Aww.
And at the time, I was in like kind of a transition period. I just had gotten divorced, and I was wondering, do I want to move to Georgia where all the makeup stuff was, or do I want to stay here where my kids were, you know?
Sure.
And this guy comes up to me, goes, can I talk to you for a second? I said, sure. And he goes, I want to let you know something. So I said, he goes, this will be the first time in 15 years I brushed my own teeth tonight. And I said, this is where I need to be.
Oh, dude.
And so
Awesome.
yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
I've been there ever since.
Yeah.
And Jeff loves that I work in film, so I come and go as I please, and it's just great. It's just great.
Very honorable.
Yeah,
that's
you give back all the time. Yeah.
You get an Emmy for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Real quick, I wanted to give just a super quick update on Aladdin 3477. It is the calm before the storm. So as you guys know, I've signed with the distributor who hasn't been named yet, but will be soon. And in fact, probably, I'm assuming the next time I do a live stream, everyone will probably know, and hopefully I have more information soon. So in the last episode, and this was at least over a month ago, it was going through quality control, and that took a couple months. And it's so interesting, the whole process of quality control, they scrutinize everything. And one of my favorite examples, I don't have an image of it here, but like there's a scene in the film, this is one of the first scenes in the first movie, where there's a character named Pradeep that sees the Darshana Shailaja, which is like the 6-arm robot creature, and he's mesmerized by it. And he doesn't speak English, he speaks Hindi. But in the scene, I kind of told the actor, you're just mesmerized and kind of watching. So in real life, the actor, Irfan Sheikh, watched, and he didn't say anything out loud, but he just mouthed out like, and like, I thought it was so cool. Like, is he saying a prayer, or is he just mumbling the words? Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Whatever it was, I was like, it's perfect. It really feels like, even though he wasn't actually saying anything, I thought it was amazing. Well, that got flagged in quality control because they said, this character is talking, but we can't hear the dialogue. It's missing the dialogue there.
Really?
And I just like, and it's so wild. Like after watching it, like, oh my gosh, these are the things that like, you don't really think about, because when I was making it, I was like, oh, that looks great. It's perfect. And so every time I watch it, I'm watching Irfan Sheikh with this incredible acting because he's so mesmerized, not thinking someone else watching this might be like, is there something wrong with the audio? What did they say there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, can you
It's
can
not-
you come back to the same people and say, I did
Yes.
it that way?
Yes, and it was, all I have to say is that was a creative thing there. So there was some things flagged. There are parts of the movie where there's like stuttering, like quick editing. There were some things that they flagged, like, was this on purpose? Because this is a little bit more jittery than, but there's like pulse pounding music and stuff like that. So very rarely, but there were so many things that they flagged, which was amazing. Most of them were supposed to be the way they were. Anyway, here is the good news. We've passed quality control.
Amen, brother.
So
Nice.
we are on to the next phase, and I can't wait
Academy
to talk
Award
about.
goes to
The
Matt
enemy
Bush.
goes to Matt Bush.
Matt Bush.
So we'll have more to chat about that soon. Tell them it's crucial to the story. You could put inaudible in there. Yeah, that's inaudible, or in subtitles or something like that. But I think most people would probably figure it out. But it's just amazing some of the things that they came up with. Anyway, so there's just a couple more executive producers from the Kickstarter that still, if you want to see the film before the film comes out, I would love to schedule that. Then here's the other thing. This is so interesting. So there's a long drawn out story, and we talked about this last time, so I'm not going to get into it too much. And that is, this right here was the initial Aladdin minifig, and it was supposed to, it has like this, the vest is a little bit more gold, comes with the lamp of wisdom. Anyway, these ended up getting lost in transition. They never made it to my house. They got caught up in customs. The problem was they found these minifigs, and they contacted me and they said, you're not allowed to order thousands of Han Solo minifigs. And I'm like, it's not Han Solo. So I sent them a photo of what Han Solo's costume looks like. And I said, this is actor Eric Steele from Utica, Michigan. I sent, look, you can see the pants are way different. You can see everything. This is Aladdin from my film. And they're like, sure it is. Anyway, so I never got these.
Really?
They were destroyed, whatever happened. Anyway, so I had to get new ones. Well, because I saw how the vest was, I made the vest different. This is a little bit closer to what his vest looks like. And then I had the idea, wait a minute, the djinn really should come with the lamp of wisdom, and Aladdin has a tracking light. So this is the version that came out that everyone has. It turns out, in a twist of fate, the company that makes these, they were moving factories or something like that, and they had a box of the original. They accidentally made too many. So I was able to buy these at cost. So now I have the original Aladdin's with, and I have them in my hand. Last time I didn't know if it was going to be real or not. I was like, this is too good to be true. So I actually have these. So I don't know what I'm going to use them for. I don't have a lot, but I have
how many you got?
A small box. I'd have to go in and count them. You know, right? The twisty.
No.
So they're super rare. So I might do something, maybe the Kickstarter for the next film, like have these deluxe ones that people can get. I mean, it's very close to what, you know, the normal Aladdin figure looks like, but it's
those are the things that makes them so collectible.
It's what makes it that's what makes it special. Congratulations on getting a distributor. Pass it in quality control. I know, it's so exciting. The next time I do the live stream lounge, there's probably going to be a lot more Aladdin juice. I wanted to share more on the art book. The art book is done. It's going to print this week. Very excited about that. I wanted to show you guys the cover, but I can't show you the cover yet for a reason. Probably next time I'll be able to show the cover. Anyway, that's what's going on with Aladdin. There'll be a lot more next time, I promise. Okay. So
all right, that right there, back to my stuff. that I get asked a lot to do custom pieces for collectors. That right there, I did not create the Jason. That is Connor, the guy who won the first season of Face Off. It's his mask and Jason mask, all that stuff. But I was asked to do the base for that. That has the machete that the mask sits on. That is a replica of the sign that was out at Camp Crystal Lake, and I put a button on it where you could press a button on the side, and the hole where the crack is in the Camp Crystal Lake, it lights up red, and it says all of the sayings that the mother said in the movie.
That's cool.
And the collector, the owner of that, he was just unbelievably happy with it. So I get asked to do a lot of that kind of stuff.
We haven't talked about Face Off yet.
No, yeah, we haven't.
Yeah.
That was a fun show to do. Yeah, I was on season 6.
What is Face Off?
Face Off is a makeup reality show, kind of like Project Runway for makeup artists.
It was really popular.
Yeah,
it's not still on, is it?
No. You can watch old episodes on Netflix, as a matter of fact. But I did okay. It's a very entertaining. It's entertainment. They want certain people to win, I feel.
Yeah.
But it was still a fun show to do. And if you want to get eliminated, the way I got eliminated was like the shocker heard around the world. It was pretty funny. I was getting Facebook from all over the world, from China and everybody. You got hosed, and it was because I did. I one of the couple of makeup people that work on the show didn't even finish their makeups, and they saved them.
Yeah.
And it was like this, like almost blatant that I lost.
I've noticed on other shows like Ink Master and stuff, a lot of times on purpose, they won't eliminate the people that are the worst, because some of those people, they're just very entertaining, they're drama, and sometimes on purpose, they're hard to get along with and everything else, but they make for good TV. And it's so sad because a lot of times they're nixing off people that are super talented, but like they want to keep the drama and stuff. And it's just like, really?
What was cool about our show was we never had no hidden cameras. What they would do is they called it false reality. And basically what they would do is they'd say if my mold broke in the shop. When we got back to the house, they'd say, okay, Matt and Dan, keep your microphones on. Go out to the pool and talk about the mold breaking. And they would film it from through the window of the kitchen. So we knew they were filming, but we just had to talk about, what happened that day.
Yeah.
So there was no real drama in that sense.
Yeah.
But it was fun to do. They treated me well, so it's fine. That
looks like it hurts.
Yeah. That was for another show, trying to raise money for the big feature. That tattoo was pretty prominent as far as that. Knowing who the guy was that was killed. And I was trying to figure out, how can I do a tattoo like that, So when I made that silicone arm, I took it to a friend of mine who owns 13th Hour Tattoos.
Oh, wow.
And he actually tattooed it, and it
right into the
because when you have tattoo slabs that the people practice tattooing on, it's just a silicone sheet.
Yeah. So
that's just silicone, so it worked perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. That was for a movie I finished last year, and it was for a movie called Thorns. And it had Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Oh, yeah.
He was in it. And a lot of people from the Motion Picture Institute. MPI did. One of the owners was the director.
Yeah. Probably Doug Schultz.
Doug was a director. Good guy.
I know as well. Yeah. They're really good people.
We had a ton of stuff that we did on that show. And it was fun.
I'm so sorry this is upside down. I don't know why. Man.
That was just a beat up makeup I did. Guy gets in a car crash, and I get asked to do a lot of that kind of stuff. Real kind of anatomically correct stuff. You know, that's kind of hard to look at sometimes.
Yeah.
But I get asked to do a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
That was from Thorns as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't make those. One of the girls in my shop made them. Her name is Angela Beach. Okay. She was a assistant at my studio. she took classes and she just kept going and going. And she's a really good artist now. And I bring her on whenever I can bring her on to a show, and she kills it. She's really good.
She worked on one of my films.
Yeah, she's good. She's really good. That's the main killer from Thorns.
Yeah.
I once again, having more creative control over the characters that we build, I had total control over him, and they wanted something Hellraiser-ish.
Yeah.
Because Doug Bradley was in the film and so
Mhm.
forth. And so I thought he looked pretty cool as kind of like a Cenobite kind of character.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. That was the monster. Eric Steele. Eric sculpted him for me, and I made him into a puppet. And he was in the toilet, and he come out of the toilet, and I think Angela may be in the next picture. She's operating the puppet right now.
So cool.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun to shoot that guy.
How creepy would that be if you like were almost about to sit down and this thing just?
Well, it was creepy in the film because this girl gets a leech comes out of her eye, and they throw it into the toilet, and it bubbles up, and that's what comes out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I did both already, huh? Oh, that's a werewolf at my studio that I have. I bring him a lot to Comic-Cons. He's huge. He's about this big from the table,
Mm-hmm.
and my old yeah, I'll drink some.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks.
Here, you want some ice?
Yeah, I don't care. My old assistant at the time, Alex,
It's
whatever.
just a little-
Put it in there. Pour it in there.
Sure.
I don't care. Yeah,
It's water.
I don't care. Sorry, guys. We're mixing.
It's
Perfect. Thank you. My old assistant, Alex Martin, who doesn't work for me no more, but I know she's out there still doing stuff. She wanted to learn how to punch hair. And so I sculpted that wolf, kind of an American Werewolf in London kind of style. And she hand punched all that hair on that thing. So there's a lot of hair punching. That girl, she looks a little weird as a zombie because she's got pink sparkly blood.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's so cool though.
yeah, she was for a music video the Decca Brothers did for oh gosh, it's a French band, Carpenter Brut.
Okay.
And they do a lot of videos for, or a lot of music for like video games and stuff like that. Very 80s style kind of music. And they wanted, this guy goes crazy and starts killing people, and they come back and he's dreaming that they're coming back looking like this, all sparkly and stuff, but in real life they're not sparkly. So she was fun to do. She was really cool. First time she ever had makeup like that on. That's the wolf that I had, that's in process of getting made, that I had for sale, that I sell at the shop, and a lot of hair work on him as well. That is a picture that Mike Parent, when I did a makeup demo of him, they took that and kind of did that thing on Facebook where you can make your picture look like, you know. And I think I'm going to make that into a T-shirt or something.
So
but that's
cool.
a cool picture of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Doug Bradley, Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Yeah, for sure.
He in the movie he didn't play a monster; he plays a bishop.
Okay.
And so I did his regular makeup. We made him look older for a couple scenes, but for the most part, he was just normal makeup.
Yeah.
He was super cool. At one point, I was asking him, and I said, "Do you mind if I ask you anything about Hellraiser?" No, it was just me and him. And I said, "What about the suit?" And he said the first Hellraiser, the suit was beautiful. He said the girl that made it was some girl from London who worked on the stage in London, and she made this like corset, and it was beautiful. And he goes, and that was one of the reasons why I was so regal in it, because I couldn't bend. He goes, so if you ever see him in the first movie, everything is very, and he started talking like Pinhead, and it was just me and him, and I was fanboying out.
That's
hardcore.
So cool. Yeah,
it was great. He was so cool.
Did you get the hairs on?
It was crazy. He was so nice. Such a good guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Those are teeth that I make for the guy that's Big Daddy from Land of the Dead, and he's George Romero's Land of the Dead, and he does Comic-Cons now, and I recreated the teeth for him to where in the Comic Cons they take pictures, photo ops and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And so he's a super cool guy. Comes to the studio every now and then.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I make teeth for him. And I actually did his full makeup one time for photo ops at Comic Con.
Yeah.
And he looked great.
So cool.
That was for a getting in Michigan, you get so many different things you got to do besides film. That was for a electronics magazine, and it was for something involving what electronics can do and all the different materials that people use for different things. And that was once again a vampire that was in the style of Lost Boys type deal, and she was super cool. She was one of the editors of the magazine, so she was fun to work with.
So cool. So I have a story that I wanted to share about that happened relatively recently with an FX makeup artist. If I can do this here we go. I thought you might appreciate this. Do you know who Bill Corso is?
Yes, Bill Corso is the real deal. Bill Corso is amazing.
So check this out. So years ago, I made the Indiana Jones world map. It's something that I did through Lucasfilm. It took me 3 years to do all the research, everything else. Bill Corso reached out to me. Well, first of all, the crazy thing was when they were writing Indiana Jones 5, the first, or I don't know if he was the first screenwriter, it kept passing around to different people. But one of them, actually the son of, oh my gosh, who co-wrote Empire Strikes Back, wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark, Lawrence Kasdan, John Kasdan, his son, was writing the new Indiana Jones movie, contacted me, wanted the Indiana Jones world map above his writing desk. So I sent one out to him. Then right before they started filming, Bill Corso reached out to me and said, listen, you can't tell anyone. I'm doing the new Indiana Jones. I'm doing makeup on Harrison Ford. I would love to have the Indiana Jones world map in Harrison's makeup trailer. So he has something to kind of look at and just like kind of view his past adventures and, all the things and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I sent him 2 maps. Actually, I sent him 4 because I sent 2. Something got lost in FedEx. So I tracked it. A week later, I sent him another 2. I sent him 2 and I didn't say anything, but I was like, man, that'd be amazing if he was able to maybe get one signed and send it back or something.
Sure.
I didn't want to ask and, whatever. Yeah. He offered to pay for it and everything. I said, no, absolutely. I'll just send these on my dime. So anyway, at the end of filming, a tube comes back, and I can't remember if he messaged me as well, but he said, listen, you can't share any of this until the movie comes out. But he sent a map back signed by Harrison Ford.
Nice.
Also took a photo of Harrison Ford dressed up like Indiana Jones, signing it so that I would know it's definitely, Harrison Ford signing it. And I was just like, it was so cool, but it was so neat. And the thing that was just amazing to me was, here is, because he's another artist like you and I, but for him, it was so selfless for him to reach out to help another artist, in this case, me, but he didn't have to do that. Yeah. And he didn't have to have Harrison sign it. He didn't have to send it back, but he made it more fun for Harrison Ford. He made it like, it's this crazy thing for me that like, oh my gosh, I still have to get it framed and, with the Harrison photo amazing, and everything. Man. And he sent an 8x10, not just a little one, but like, the big photo.
Yeah. Bill Corso is the real deal. He's right up there with, Berger and Rick Baker and all those guys. I mean, he is like, I believe he's got an Academy Award. I'm not sure, but he is definitely. He should. Up there.
I mean, he's done all the Deadpools.
All
the things.
He's the man for sure.
Yeah.
He was on Oz with us, but he came later, and it was funny because I knew who he was. Very quiet, very reserved. Mm-hmm. but there were so many amazing artists on that. I mean, Kevin Haney, who is Academy Award winner, was on it. The guy who painted the original E.T. was on it. Tony G. She's the person who did all the makeup on Charlene Theron from Monster.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she was on it, and he was just makeup after makeup artists that were just amazing.
Yeah.
And to be even in the same room with those people that
you read about
when I was a kid,
stuff, yeah.
You know, and these guys are like talking to me, you know, like I'm one of their people, you know, and it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing to do. But that's an awesome story. Bill Corso is, like I said, the man. One of the really, just like Howard Berger. I'll tell you a quick story about Howard. So we are doing Oz, and I'm just working with him for the first time, you know, and we take a liking to each other, me and Howard. And he's a really good guy. And he gets asked to go to the big makeup show in Toronto. I can't think of the makeup show now. But anyways, he gets asked to go to that show, and he says, well, I'll go to that show if I can bring my crew from Oz. And they, you know, whoever wanted to go with Howard got to go with Howard to this show. And so we all take a train, and there was about 15 of us. We all take a train, and we go to this makeup show, big makeup, huge show. And when we get in there, they give us these passes that say, you know, Oz crew, you know, Howard Berger done. People were just throwing stuff at us. Just take it and use it. Take it and use it. You know, I walked out with like 25 sets of brushes. I mean, just makeups that were like hundreds of dollars. I got like stacks of them, you know. And so on the last day, and Howard's going to do his talk, and there's about 4,000 people in this thing. And Howard comes out, and they had this big, huge screen, and it's everything that can be done. I mean, you know, Predator and, you know, all these aliens and all this huge shit, you know. And Howard comes out, and he's just the most humble, nice guy, and he's talking to people, and he does a Q&A. And he goes to, this girl stands up, she goes, how do I get to work with you? I want to work for you. And he looks around, and there's about 15 of us that are on his crew with him. And he goes, Dan, stand up to me. And so I stand up. And he goes, see that guy right there? He goes, he's from Detroit. He goes, I met him about 2 weeks ago. He goes, now every time I come to Michigan, he's my guy. He goes, because he's got the work ethic and he's got the goods. And he said, I never met him before this show, and he's going to be one of my guys now. He goes, that's how you get to work for me. And I was like,
that's cool.
Yeah. So those are the moments that you want to remember, you know, and it was just an amazing experience. And Howard and those guys are just those guys that, you know, back in the 80s, what people don't understand is back in the 80s, all these makeup people, it was a secretive world. They didn't want to tell how they did a lot of stuff because they were like rock stars. You know, they would do Freddy Krueger and all those guys, and they didn't want to say how they did this stuff, you know, and it was very hard to get into that world because it was so many secrets. Now it's so out there, but if you're going to be good, you got to really, really take the time to get good. Just like, you have probably spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours sitting there refining your craft.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the same way. I've sat there with my feet under a table and sculpted for days and days and days and days. And like I said, we go back to that old saying, we can teach anybody how to draw or how to sculpt. But if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be viable. And that's what has to happen. You have to be passionate. You have to want to do this no matter what. And you got to do it no matter what the money is, no matter what the hours are. You know, those are the reasons why a lot of people fail, is because they think that they can watch YouTube or whatever and they can do this. And then they start, well, how much are you going to pay me? I didn't get paid for years doing this stuff. You know, I used to do makeups out of the back of a pickup truck. You know, I used to, on my spare time, would go down and do kids' festivals and just do face painting. You know, I did whatever I could do to make my skill set better,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And with that being said, that's my biggest advice to people is just continuously work on your craft, because I know I do, and I know if you're going to be in Michigan, you're going to have to go out against me for a film, and I know where my skill set lies.
Yeah.
You know, and just like you know, if something comes to Michigan and you want that job, look at his track record of stuff, and that's because he's got the passion to want to get good at what he does.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
I think one of the things that sometimes I have students or aspiring artists will come and have questions about different things. And a lot of times they focus on just kind of they'll figure out a trick that works, whether it's in a digital program. Sometimes it's even something that is traditional, but it might be a medium, and they have a thing where they can draw people and their head is always a 3/4 view, and they've got this trick that they can do really good, and that's it. They're a one-trick pony. And I think the thing that's interesting is you need to be able to do everything, but you need to be able to think on your feet. And so I love the thing that you were saying earlier about grabbing whatever they had in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You had to make it work.
Yeah.
So something that happened to me over the summer was I was asked, it was my 30th anniversary and they were having me on stage. I didn't know I was going to be drawing. They had a big sheet of paper. They had 4 magic markers, and they're like, in 10 minutes, just draw something Star Wars in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I usually have like my paints that I use. I usually have photographs that I'm looking at and everything else. Like, what am I going to do? At the same time, the challenge was like adrenaline for me. And I was like, bring it.
Yeah.
I got 10 minutes. All right, let's do it. And so this is me live on stage, trying to talk about it at the same time. This is me drawing Darth Vader with 4 magic markers, scribbling it in as quick as I can to try to make it interesting. A funny thing about this, though, oh my gosh, I'll just share this really quick because everyone who watches has already heard this story. But when they introduced me onto stage, this is my moment, not just of the year, of my career. It's my 30th anniversary, and it's all in German, but they're talking about all the different milestones and some of the different books I've illustrated and everything. So finally, and I've got my headset on and everything, and I'm standing in the audience with Casey, and it's a stage. There's like steps, leading up, and they finally call me out onto the stage. Star Wars music is blaring. So I go run. I feel it. This is going to be great, and I'm going to try to be entertaining, even though I don't speak German. Most people can understand English. So I just go running top speed, and my shoe hits the top step.
Oh.
I launch into the air, and my upper half is heavier than my lower half. So I go soaring. I face plant right onto the stage.
Oh, man.
Headset mic comes off. And then the guy who introduced me, he's actually he is the CEO of the Star Wars magazine. He's a petite little guy. So he reaches out to help me up. I should have just gotten up myself. So I take his hand, but then I'm just pulling him down. So embarrassing. Oh my gosh. But in a weird way, it was amazing. Like, you can't, like, oh my gosh.
And you're human.
Yeah.
And things like that happen to all of us.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, of course that happened,
Yeah, or I've had that stuff kind of happen to me doing these makeup demos, and you get on stage and you're doing the makeup demo and you're gluing it on the guy's face, and you're gonna go to paint it, and you look and there's no paint.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
And I got 500 people watching this thing, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? And you just figure it out. If you're good enough to do that, that means you're prepared, and you not only are you prepared, you have the skill sets that you can get yourself out of any jam, and that's a big part of it. Can you explain the process?
This is actually this is actually an inside joke. But you'll appreciate this. Tracy Wayne, what's going on? So I've done a number of gigs for Gene Simmons.
Really?
And I've met him a number of times, but one of the times in particular, I was doing artwork for a book he had written. It was IDW put out this graphic novel called Gene Simmons' House of Horrors. And it was like an anthology of
I've heard
horror
of it.
stories.
Do you have one?
Oh, I have I used to do the covers for it, and it was neat because the first page or two of the graphic novel was always Gene Simmons kind of introducing this collection of stories, and he would be doing something creepy. And then the last 2 pages was also Gene Simmons continuing and saying, come back next time. I don't know how many issues there were, but I did the covers and I did the beginning pages and the end pages, and they were all fully painted and stuff.
I gotta get a couple from you.
Well, the funny thing was that one time we went and he let us film him. This is in the Illustration Nation documentary that's on DVD. Anyway, it was so funny because I did all these by hand, but there's video where he had already seen the pages, but like, I showed him the pages again. He's like, yeah, I saw these. These are amazing. Can you explain the process? And I'm like, well, yeah, I hunt for reference. I look for photos of you so that it actually looks like you. But I draw with pencil, and then I kind of, ink them a little bit, but then I actually paint on top. And he goes, gosh, I'm just dumbfounded. So you use a computer? And I said, no, they're I draw by hand and I paint them. He's like, wow, that they look so realistic. And so the process, again, what's that? Can you explain the process? And it's like, yeah. So I pencil and I go through the whole thing. He goes, that's just so, I just like, so it digital. And I'm like, no, it's drawn by hand. He's like, man, because I could swear it's just the process again. And he just keeps going. This goes on and on. And fans are waiting to meet him and stuff. And and he's letting us film. Most people he doesn't let film. And he's being so cool. And his son was with him and stuff. But it was so funny because just over and over, he just kept saying, no. So tell me about the process again. He was so into it, but it just kept going in circles. Anyway, that's the inside joke. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I'm so glad to hear it. I'm working on a Transformers poster, 11 by 17, for a friend just because I love to make art and I'm not a pro. But man, I'm going to put out some commissions immediately after this. Good. That's a great way to get started. If you can get paid for it. You see Tracy's laughing here. If you can make some money doing it, that's how it begins. That is wonderful advice. Even when I'm not drawing every day, I try to incorporate some kind of creativity into my day, whether it's crafting, decorating, or journaling. It's something instead of nothing. And on that note, Brittany, you know what? You are so kind and so generous. And I know you are the kind of person that always puts other people in front of you, and you always are trying to make people feel good. And that was another reason why I wanted to share that story about Bill Corso, is like in the midst of everything that he does, the fact that he took the time to do that and to make sure I got the mat and took photo, got it printed, he didn't have to do any of that. And, and maybe he has, I don't know if he has an assistant or someone that he was able to say, hey, can you do this and make sure it gets back to Matt Bush? Doesn't matter either way. Like, oh my gosh, so cool. And that's where, at the end of the day, I think the thing that I always try to do, and I know you are so generous with your students and sharing your time and expertise and everything, but I feel like at the end of the day, what we're really remembered for after all of this is over is what kind of person we were. Were we easy to work with? Were we generous? Were we kind? I think that's the stuff that people remember. And that's, in the end, that's how you're judged. Obviously you want to, do good work and make it quality and everything. But I think at the end of the day, just being a cool person is
I agree.
And people want to work with you. And like the guy said, that was that called you out and stuff like that and knew that you were serious business and good people, the kind of person that
at the end of the day, when you're doing this kind of work, you're always going to have people that are going to want to, I don't want to say be haters, but they're always going to question your ability. That's a good way to put it, I guess. And I find the best way to go about my career is just keep working, let people talk if they want to talk. At the end of the day, I know the people that I want to surround myself with, people like yourself and artists that are have good hearts, because at the end of the day, I don't have time to deal with that nonsense, you know, and I'm getting too old to as well. So, but just keep working. That's the biggest thing I can tell a person that wants to do this stuff. In my world, especially if you want to stay in Michigan, if you want to go to work at a shop in Georgia or LA or something in California, you can be a specialty person. You can go and do nothing but be an airbrush guy or a sculptor or a mold maker. There's amazing people that are mold makers out there and all that stuff. But in Michigan, we don't have all those people here. I have 2 people that work in my shop with me. So I'm kind of a one-man show. So we got to be able to be multi-diverse, you know, and I wouldn't hesitate to call Matt if I needed, you know, a storyboard's done. You know, Matt would, if he can't do it, he'll turn me on to somebody that can. I know where I can and can't succeed. So at the end of the day, you just got to keep working, man. Keep working, because there's going to be somebody out there that's going to want to keep working, you know?
So Dan, we're nearing the end of our time here
already.
I know it goes by so quick.
Dang,
I've got your website right here. I had the honor of seeing some secret stuff that you've been working on recently. Maybe I shouldn't even say that.
No, that's fine.
But
that's fine.
what can you tell us, and what do you have coming up? Do you have any new for people that want to learn the secrets of how to do this? Do you have any workshops coming up?
Well,
and how would they know about it?
Yeah, well, here's what I do. There's my website, and there's a way to get a hold of me on the website. If you're interested in learning this stuff, send me an email. And I don't care what your stuff looks like. Don't say, I don't want to send you this because it looks like crap. I don't care. I want to know that you're trying to work and do it. So send me the stuff, and I will let you know when I get enough students to be able to viably monetarily stay off of a film for 6 to 8 weeks to do a class or internship or something, then I'll do it. Once you guys send me the information, your information, I'll send you information on the different things that I do as far as teaching this stuff. But it's not going to be viable for me. I'll be honest, it's not going to be viable for me for one person. I got to have 4 to 5 people that want to learn this stuff. And then we can work something out. And it's always a hands-on, one-on-one. I right there with you guys. I do it the way I work my classes is I give you guys a project to do, and I do the project right along with you. So you learn the skill set as I'm doing it as well. So I think that's the best way to do it. And it gives you guys a diverse thing of skill sets. And as far as what I'm doing right now, I'm doing some custom work pieces for people. I'm also doing some film work. I just got done doing a film that just a short that I can't really talk about. We're going to be filming the rest of it in spring, but it's crazy fun, cool monsters. The last thing I did was the little low budget Thorns. It's going to be streaming soon. I know that for sure. So check that out. Got Doug Bradley from Hellraiser in it. We do a ton of everything in the whole film is practical effects. And it's, that's what I do. So if you guys are interested in learning some of this stuff, give me a shout and I'll shout you back.
Awesome.
Before we leave,
yeah.
Now that we're still live here, I really, really need a Darth Vader picture from you.
Yeah.
I know you're
like
good.
A print or something?
No.
Oh, just like
Fuck them prints, like a drawing that I can hang in my studio, in my apartment.
Yeah.
Because I want a Matt Bush original.
Woohoo!
And I'll pay you whatever it costs. But
Awesome,
I want
brother.
something from you because I don't have nothing that's original from you. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So I got it online here. Everybody heard me. And I got some ideas for something for you as well.
Oh, awesome. Respect to amazing artists. Thank you, Tracy Wayne. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for hanging out.
Thank
Ooh,
you.
I like the General Grievous cosplay. That's amazing. Very, very cool.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. I want to say I'm humbled to be here. Matt is an amazing, amazing guy, amazing artist.
Aww.
And I just am honored and humbled to be here. And I hope you guys learned a little bit, but keep on making art.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, man.
Hey, speaking of which, taking care of some business here, Macomb College. So classes, you can register now for next semester in January. This is our new renovated building. And now you can actually go upstairs. You can actually go in that little mezzanine up there and hang out, which is really cool. Right there, it's blocked off. You can't really see it there, but this is like the cool entryway in the middle. This is what our design classes look like. Here's our digital illustration, 3D animation. This is our new video studio. It's ginormous. And then here's one of my rooms. I've got like 3 different illustration rooms. This is the figure illustration room, but this was a class that was just in there the other day. I put together a still life for them. And then this was a drawing I did on the board. I need to like think of like funny things to kind of like put on the board to show, here I was just showing line quality, like thick and thins, So this is literally dry erase markers. But have you seen the Australian breakdancer? Is that even on your radar?
No.
The breakdancing? Oh my gosh. It's a huge controversy because the breakdancing was amazing from all around the world. But for some reason, Australia, this woman who somehow is the best Australian breakdancer comes out and she just starts doing and she gets on the ground and she's like a platypus or something, or like a seal, like clapping and like it's so funny. And the crazy thing was she was serious.
Really?
About it. I think what it was.
It's not the girl that's Wednesday. Is
no.
It? Did you see her online? That girl that cosplays as Wednesday doing all that dancing? She looks just like Wednesday.
And that might be a deep fake, or it could be someone that's doing it, but then they deep fake there's so much AI and deep fake stuff now. It's hard to tell what's real and what isn't. But anyway, so if you want to take one of my classes, and some of my classes are remote, like the previs classes, a lot of my classes are hybrid now, where half of the days are on ground and half of the days are remote, where you can work from the comfort of your own home. This is episode 3 that's dropping this week of Illustrating Star Wars, showing you a detailed look at how I illustrated Vader's world. Other than that, I was going to go over fan mail, but we'll do some of that now.
Go over it.
What's that?
Go over some fan mail.
You want me to go over it?
Go over fan mail. I want to see some fan mail. You're the man.
Let me just do one really quick. All right.
Go over it.
So I have a stack here. I just grab whatever is next in here, and I never know what this is. So this is this says teacher request on here. I don't know. That
looks like a bill.
I hope it's not a bill. And some of these might be. I'm nervous. I'm going to open one of these, and it's just a Christmas card from a cousin. Like, oh, that's not fan mail. Whoops.
I'm not sure.
So what is it? So here's a return. That's always helpful when they.
No addresses.
What is this? Hello, how wonderful it is to write to you today. I hope this letter finds you healthy and happy. I'm blessed to be entering my 24th year as an elementary school teacher. I'm prepping now for the start of the school year. My second grade students crave knowledge, and I strive to introduce them to worldly and successful people such as yourself. I'd be grateful for your kindness. Would you graciously draw 5 sketches along with your autograph? I then create a personalized lesson plan about your life and accomplishments. My top 5 students who write the most creative report about you get presented with your sketch. They will surely get a kick of holding on to a little piece of you in their hands after learning about you in a class. Thank you so much. God bless you and your family. The fact that this doesn't say my name,
it's probably,
and it doesn't say hey, you're my favorite. They probably send these out and then these probably will not go to kids. These will probably be on eBay, framed with stuff. So, so knowing that, all right. So what can I do? Is there anything I can do to be funny, but also not rude? What can I do to, what do I do here?
You mean sketch wise?
Yeah. Like, I don't know what,
just draw stick figures.
Can't tell you what that looked like upside down.
Whoops. Oh boy. I forget how to.
That's it.
There you go.
So
There you
there's
go.
one.
That's a sketch.
All right.
Do
two.
your version of Ozzy Osbourne,
Oh boy.
just like a caricature of him, like a comic version of him. Doesn't have to be like really detailed. Move, I'll do it. I'm joking. You know, he just got put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Who did?
Ozzy,
Ozzy.
the second time.
Mm.
Oh, because what, the first one was for Black Sabbath?
Yeah. Have you ever done anything work for him?
I have.
Have you?
I designed a shirt for him, and I did a couple shirt designs for Black Sabbath. But there's a lot of people that I would love to have done work for that I have not. But I have done some for Ozzy.
Have you done any work for Matt Bush?
Everything I do.
What would that
Matt
look
Bush is the man.
What would that look like? Matt does Matt.
Well, as soon as this
Aladdin.
ends,
Mhm.
I'm going to tell him what idea I have. Unfortunately, I can't tell him when this is going.
Something you do off camera?
Yes, that he may be interested in me doing for him.
Oh. All right. Oh boy. Mm.
That's pretty good, man.
Mm.
That's good.
End it.
If these are really going to kids, I don't even know. Boo.
Ooh. Mm. Nice.
Watch, this is going to end up on eBay. People are going to be like, what is this? Boo. From Ozzy. I don't know. All right. What do kids like? Kids like
Candy.
And they like
Snoopy?
Powerpuff Girls,
There you
right?
go. So while he's doing that, I have a weird question for you.
For me?
And a little time that we have, I was going to
Okay.
ask you
Yeah.
softly here, but so in the industry,
Mhm.
with a lot of the special effects that's going on, where do you see practical effects going versus do you see that
Like
industry?
CGI or something? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and repeat the question in case they don't hear me, because sometimes.
Okay, where do I see practical effects compared to CGI stuff? I think that there's always going to be a reason to do practical. People are always going to love guys in suits, monster suits. I think that digital stuff works best when it involves practical as well. A good example of that would be Two-Face from Batman. They used a practical prosthetic on his face and CGI'd the elements that went through his face. I think that looked great. I think CGI is still a little Shrekky in some elements. Hair is not perfect yet. Water's not perfect yet. They will perfect it. And they're getting to the, with all this AI stuff, they're going to get to the point where it's going to be seamless, Nice. But I think that, there'll always be a need for both. I remember when CGI first came out, especially Jurassic Park, everyone was like, in my industry was going, oh my God, we're done. There's not going to be any more reason for us to work. And that just opened more doors for us because we did, look at Jurassic Park, Stan Winston Studios. They did all those T-Rex all practically. They made them all in their studios and shops and stuff. And the big T-Rex was a big animatronic T-Rex that they made there. And so I just think that there's just going to be, more and more of that kind of work coming out.
So yes or no, AI or practical?
Me?
Just in general.
Oh, practical all day long. I mean,
Okay.
that's my
Cool.
that's my bread
The
and
real
butter.
stuff. There you go. Nice.
And one more.
Do C3PO.
You know, I need to do one of my own.
Yeah, from
There you
Aladdin.
go. Let's see. Let's just do this real quick. So we got. I don't think they can hear me. These are the Fidji's.
Fidji designer toys.
Fidji's, not to be confused with the Fuji's. Of course, they could be a band. You know. Let's see, we got this one on the guitar. The Flu Man. Yeah. Nice.
And if anybody ever wants to send me work, let me check their work out. I will start a file on people, and I'll keep your work with me, and we can do it a couple different ways. If you don't want to learn anything and you just want to send me pictures, I can either critique them or just keep a file on your stuff. And if something comes along that I think I can use you on, I'll definitely give you a holler. But if you want to be critiqued, that's what I like to do, because that'll make you better. But I'm pretty hard on that because I want to see you succeed. So yeah.
Can I just send you pictures anyway?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
What kind of pictures are we talking?
I was going to say, make sure they're appropriate.
All right. So, what else is going on? So the Livestream Lounge is an official podcast on YouTube. You can check out all past episodes there. Next time, I will be chatting a lot more about Aladdin 3477. Hopefully I have some good juice soon. It won't be next week because next week is the horror film roulette. And I don't want to compete with that. A lot of friends and colleagues and stuff like that are having that good show. If you guys want to see it in person, I believe the evening show is already sold out. It's 1 week from today. They have just a handful of tickets for the matinee, but you can also pay to stream it and you can watch it live online now. Yeah, that's it's crazy.
Yeah, they're really taking that festival to another level.
I think they have something tonight on YouTube you can watch.
Oh, yeah, the Graveyard. And I don't know, I should know. The Graveyard used to be videos that were made by. Thank you, Brittany. The Graveyard used to be films that were made by people that weren't competing or they didn't get in on time, but now I think it might also include people that didn't get into the top 25, maybe. I'm not sure, but you can check those out and stream those. It might even be tonight only, but you can get all the information obviously at horrorfilmroulette.com. Dan, we need to do this again, and when we do,
yeah, for sure,
you and I don't know, maybe not. If you
unfortunately, I don't partake anymore.
But this is a cherished gift. You gave me this.
Yeah, did I?
Yeah, this is my favorite wine bottle. I haven't cracked this open yet because
that's right, at the party,
the artwork it looks like something from Mad Max, right? And the cool thing is, the title of this wine is If You See K.
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that great? That is so clever. And for the longest, it took me a year. And I was like, if you see K, I was like, this has to be a puzzle. Like that doesn't make sense. Why would they call it that? It's cool. It's it sounds like a 90s band. It's just called If You See K. Yeah. There's got to be something about it. And I just kept saying it over and over. And finally I was like, oh my gosh,
I don't remember where I got that
is brilliant. You gave this to me as a gift, maybe when
at your party
finishing Aladdin or something like that.
No, it was before that. It was before that. It was like one of your parties you had one night. You were really drunk. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But yeah, I don't drink, but I'll watch you drink it. For sure.
Yeah. Well, next time I have to crack that open for sure. Thank you so much, Dan, for coming out. That was a great show. I know everyone got some good juice, and for as many people as watch this live, a lot of people watch this tomorrow. That's the crazy thing about social media is the time that most people are on it is not when they should be leisurely, like hanging out on a Sunday night. When they're at work, when they're supposed to be on the job, that's when everyone is going to watch this again on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all the things. So I know even if they aren't appreciating it live, everyone's going to see this in the next couple of days, and I'll have a link that I'll send you as well.
Yeah, I'll share it as well. Yeah.
But anyway, dude, rock and roll, and man, some
Thank
great
you, man.
stories
Thank
tonight.
you, brother.
Oh my gosh,
Thank you, brother.
that was
High five.
awesome.
Thank you for running that camera. You did a good
Yeah,
job.
thank you, Mike.
Go
Woohoo!
Lions!
Go Lions!
Yeah, go Lions. Right on.
Awesome. All right, gang.
Good night, everybody. Thank you
All right,
again.
let's see. We do the branding here, and it is this.
Yeah, baby.
Rock and roll. See you guys. Wait. Oh, how do I get this to go? Hold on.
Come on, Bush.
Oh, here we go. I just do this.
Did you enjoy class today? If so, give me a like. If there's something you'd like to see me cover in a future video, let me know what that is in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I've also got a video series called Sketchbook Challenge that helps your drawing, creativity, and fill up an awesome looking sketchbook. Plus, there are videos on You Can Draw Star Wars, Hollywood is Dead, and sneak peeks at the Aladdin 3477 Motion Picture Trilogy. In order to not miss any new videos, hit that notification bell. Sharing is caring, and it's great to inspire your friends. Share this video on social media and your friends will share awesome art tips they find with you. If you're on Instagram, you can follow me at Matt_Bush_Instagram. I'll see you back in the classroom soon. Don't be tardy.
One over here. There we are. I don't have short arms. Okay.
Cool.
Good enough.
All right.
That was fun. Good times.
Is it still? Oh, see, it's still. It looks like it's still going. All right, end stream.
I noticed
Stay
it
in the
takes a minute.
studio until the auto finishes playing, or they may not. Oh, I'm supposed to hit outro first.
Did you enjoy class today? If so, give me a like. If there's something you'd like to see me cover in a future video, let me know what that is in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I've also got a video series called Sketchbook Challenge that helps your drawing, creativity, and fill up an awesome looking sketchbook. Plus, there are videos on You Can Draw Star Wars, Hollywood is Dead, and sneak peeks at the Aladdin 3477 Motion Picture Trilogy. In order to not miss any new videos, hit that notification bell. Sharing is caring, and it's great to inspire your friends. Share this video on social media and your friends will share awesome art tips they find with you. If you're on Instagram, you can follow me at Matt_Bush_Instagram. I'll see you back in the classroom soon. Don't be tardy.